At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Washington Nationals. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Cadillac. Visit CadillacTristate.com for exceptional offers. By Citi Preferred Card of the New York Mets. By Tri-Acura. Visit your local Tri-Acura dealer or online at TriAcuraDealers.com. By Geico, over 75 years of savings and service. And by Jeep, the most awarded lineup of SUVs ever. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. New York on Sunday.
Taking a nap.
Big city, taking a nap. Slow down on Sunday. I mean, Bobby Darin, he's got the lyrics. We're just filling in with the pictures. It's a beautiful city. It's a gorgeous day. It's Sunday. Lots to do. Central Park, Citi Field. It's where all the stuff is happening. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez with you today as the Mets go for a sweep of the three-game series against the Washington Nationals. Mets have pitched shutouts in the first two games of the series, but it's a longer trend than that. Over the last 8 games, Mets starting pitchers have a 1.40 ERA.
Well, remember at the trading deadline, there was a lot of talk about possible trades of the frontline starters. Well, no trades were made. I was happy to see that, and the starting rotation has responded. Vargas has come out of hibernation, has had 3 good starts in a row. Steven Matz has really been the one guy that's struggling. That's today's starter, but all the other 3 guys have been fantastic, and pitching is the name of the game.
Well, Matz had a little bit of a bounce back his last start against the Giants. Gave up a first-inning home run. Was pretty good after that, and he'll try and build off that today.
Well, his last start against the Nationals was that big old 25-4 blowout. He didn't get out of the first inning, and he gave up 7 runs. And he's looking, I'm sure, for a little bit of payback here against the Nationals.
Mets get their first look at rookie right-hander Jeffrey Rodriguez, just his 6th big league start.
Well, youngster, big, tall kid, tall and lean. They say he's a diamond in the rough. How many people do we see like this? Great arm, good breaking ball, matter of throwing strikes. We'll get a good look at him today.
Mets and the Nationals. Nats haven't scored a run in their last 3 games. Mets try and keep it that way before they head to Chicago. Mets and Nationals, all the action on SNY. Taiwan Heritage Day at Citi Field, featuring traditional performances and giveaways. For more info, go to taiwan.net. Celebrate Jacob deGrom's performance this season with a special 4 for $48 ticket offer in select seating locations for all remaining Mets home games. Tickets are subject to availability. For tickets, visit Mets.com/deGrom. Your Ford leaderboard, Trey Turner leading the league in stolen bases. In fact, he leads the majors in steals. 9 of his 33 have come against the Mets. And he'll be going up against Steven Matz today, who has had trouble limiting the running game. So the solution to that just has to keep him off base. Perfect game. They can't steal any bases.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
First pitch coming up. Told reporters before the game that he's been sick for about a week, and so he's finally sitting down. Juan Soto, on the other hand, will play his 46th consecutive game starting in left field.
He's a youngster.
He's 19.
Yeah, he can do that.
Well, you know, Harper's an old man of 25. He's got to, you know, rest. Doesn't want to get worn down. 5 weeks to go in the season before he becomes a free agent.
Okay. Here we are. Here come your Mets.
The umpires were late. Did you notice that?
Yes, sir. And your Lexus Metzi starting infield. Tomas Nido called up. Gets his first start. Third game. He's in the lineup. Good for him. Jay Bruce gets his first start at first base. Since coming back, as 4th of the year. He's going to get a lot of playing time there, and the outfield is pretty constant with this trio right here. We're looking forward to Brandon Nimmo coming back soon.
Yeah, he's eligible tomorrow. Played a game on rehab last night down in St. Lucie. Players greeting the young fans, as they generally do before Sunday home games.
I wonder if those little kids think it's a softball game with those uniforms.
Beautiful Sunday afternoon. Temperature right around 80 degrees. Could not be more perfect.
Nice shot right here. Look at that. Well. Oh, he's doing the walk-off here for his stride. How about that? Okay. Nice. Yep, on the third base side of that rubber. Very extreme right side of the rubber. I'm trying to remember where I towed the slab or where my foot was when I pitched in high school.
Probably in the hole right in front of the rubber. I mean, that's the thing about pitching on big league mounds as opposed to little league mounds. There's no hole.
I have forgotten. That is a very long time ago. All I remember about pitching, Gary, was that my elbow would hurt like heck the next day.
So think about doing that for 200 innings in the big league.
Oh, I hear you. Once every fifth day.
Well, the last time Steven Matz started against the Nationals, the result was the most lopsided loss in Mets history. Matz, who has had first inning troubles all year, had particular problems that day, never got out of the first inning, gave up 7 runs. Hoping for better today as Adam Eaton gets set to lead off for the Nationals. Eaton appeared to be a target in yesterday's game.
Yes, he did.
He got flipped once by Zach Wheeler and then hit later in the game. Eaton was the one who slid into second base, ending Phillip Evans' season. Mets, some of them thought it wasn't a clean slide. I'm not sure I agree. Eaton hits the first pitch past third and down the left field line, charged by Conforto. Eaton will settle for a single as Conforto gets it in quickly. Steven Matz greeted rudely, and Eaton has a leadoff hit.
A little cut and slash here. That is just good hitting on a fastball belt high. Nice and level. And the fact that you have potential to bunt, you've got Frazier playing in. It opens up that line in the hole for the hitter. Nicely done.
Well, he bunted for a hit on the first pitch of the game yesterday. He slaps one by Frazier for a hit on the first pitch of today's game. And now Trey Turner, 1 for 6 in the series. And the stolen base always a concern for Matz. Not just 25 steals, but only 2 caught stealings in 27 attempts. Eaton hasn't been running as much this year because he's had all sorts of leg problems. He's 5 out of 6 in steals this season.
2 years in a row for him. He had that horrific injury when he hit the first base bag hustling down the line.
That was here last season, which cost him most of the year, and then he got hurt again against the Mets down in D.C. early this season. So he played just 23 games last year and only his 57th start this year.
And he was made to dance at the plate yesterday more than a couple times. He got dropped in his second at bat trying to put a bunt down.
Good change up by Matz, and he's ahead on Turner 1-2.
And Gary, I gotta correct you. Mr. Eaton did not slap that ball to left field. That ball was slashed. It was ripped. Okay, we clear on that?
Keith, whatever word you'd like to use, you just keep incorporating that into your vocabulary. I'm glad to see that, you know, the word choice is broad.
I hate that term slap. He slapped it to the opposite field.
Sorry. I'll try to mind my P's and Q's. Anthony Rendon on deck as Matz checks in on Eaton at first.
Another beautiful day for baseball. Good Lord, it's wonderful, spectacular.
This time Turner able to foul off the changeup. You mentioned Matz in the first inning. His first inning ERA is 9.53. After that, 3.33. So if he can just get past the first inning, he's usually in pretty good shape. And Turner screws himself into the ground as he fouls off that slider, and it's still 1-2. That last start, he walked the opening batter, Andrew McCutchen, and 2 batters later, Evan Longoria hit a 2-run homer. But then Matt settled in and retired the next 12 batters. Turner still shaking it off after that foul ball.
Socks are a little busy, aren't they?
Well, most of the players are wearing those on Players Weekend.
Almost look like Christmas stockings. Oh, he got it on the instep there, on the ball of his foot and the big toe. That hurts. Well, you got to get in there and hit.
Any places you fouled off your foot that don't hurt?
Those can be Christmas stockings. On the fireplace.
Well, but then somebody has to fill them with goodies.
Well, it's a little early yet. Got time.
Maybe fill them with a Players Weekend jersey. I think that might be your Christmas present. Out to left field, chasing Conforto back a few strides. He's there. And that's the first out of the day. Turner's retired. Eaton back to first. 1 out. Here's Anthony Rendon. Rendon has great career numbers against Mets. 6 for 19, including 3 home runs. And he has generally strafed the Mets, hitting .395 against Mets pitching this year. And Mats misses up and away with a fastball for ball 1. Rendon 2 for 8 in this series. The Nationals have gone 27 straight innings without scoring a run. The last time they scored was on a walk-off home run by Ryan Zimmerman Wednesday night against the Phillies. This one's out to right field, and Bautista has room, a step onto the warning track to get it. So 2 fly ball outs after the leadoff slashed hit, and Ryan Zimmerman will come up. Zimmerman 1 for 8 in this series.
He got put on his back yesterday on a ball up and in from Zach Wheeler.
Zimmerman has been the Nationals' best hitter against lefties this year. He's hitting .404 with 5 home runs against left-handers. Of course, he missed a substantial portion of time with an oblique injury, so he's only had 200 at-bats this season.
Well, last year, where he played an entire season, comeback player of the year, career riddled with injuries, and here he is back to square one. Another year of visits, long visits to the DL.
Last year, 36 home runs, 108 RBIs, hit .303, had a fantastic season. But now Zimmerman at age 33, trying to get it revved up late in the year. He's got 1 more year left on that 11-year contract that he signed with the Nationals. Next year is the last year of that deal.
You remember what the dollar figure was?
I can tell you it was 11 years, $135 million.
I'll take it.
So, you know, that was right from, I think, from the 3rd year of his career.
That's a very sweetheart deal.
So, you know, that included several years where he would not have been eligible for free agency. The fastball misses high, 2-0.
Stands way away from the plate. One of the not too many hitters stand as far away from the plate as Ryan does.
Got change up in for a strike, 2-1. That's what made the fact that he got knocked down yesterday so startling. He's so far from the plate. It's rare that he has to.
Right, but he dives
escape.
too. But he dives. And
good fastball away by Mats, and it's 2-2.
And I think that is effective for Wheeler, Zach, because he's wild around the plate. Sometimes that he throws 97 and that ball gets away and runs in on a right-hand hitter. It's going to make them think twice about digging in and diving over the plate. And I'm not saying it was intentional. I don't think it was intentional at all. The ball just got away, but it does send a little warning, Will Robinson.
Jay Bruce playing first base. He's going to play behind the runner with 3-2 and 2 out. And it's upstairs, ball 4, and Zimmerman's on with a walk. So the Nats have 2 men on, and Juan Soto will come to the plate.
And he has had an impressive series thus far as his quality of his at-bats. He's 3 for 7 in the series. But every at-bat, Gary, and you notice too, is just he battles the pitcher.
Eaton at second, Zimmerman at first with 2 out. Soto at age 19 has had more success against left-handed pitching than he has against right-handed pitching. Sitting .321 against lefties with 6 of his 15 home runs. Chance to get the Nats on the board for the first time in a long time. And he takes a strike on the outside. 0-1.
I think Juan thought that pitch was up and away.
And Soto takes a fastball down the middle for a strike, and it's 0-2. First one might have been questionable. Second one wasn't.
That was a good pitch right there. Knees in black outside corner.
Nick Lentz calling the balls and strikes today. Paul Narth, the crew chief at first. Scott Barry and Carlos Torres round out the crew. Nothing easy for Matz in these first innings. Trying to find the escape hatch. And the curveball struck him out. Matz fools Soto, has his first strikeout, and he strands a pair in the first inning. Better start for Matz. Mets come to bat, no score. Rosario's been hot. Jeff McNeil's been hot. Mets have scored the most runs of any team in the National League since the All-Star break. I bet you didn't know that.
Wow. Well, good. There's your starting pitcher. Your Land Rover numbers are coming right at you. There they are. Jeffrey Rodriguez from the Dominican Republic. And this is his 6th start, 8th appearance. Too many walks. You see the 16 walks in those 29 2/3. That spells trouble, especially when you're giving up 29 hits.
Ahmed Rosario homered to put the Mets on the board yesterday in a scoreless game in the 6th. He's 3 for 8 in this series. And he just keeps getting better and better. Takes a fastball inside from Rodriguez, and it's 2-0. Rosario, over his last 16 games, has 13 RBIs and 14 runs scored. So he is becoming more and more productive out of that leadoff spot. He's running more. His defense has been impeccable. Takes a strike, and it's 2-1. Rosario, McNeil, and Conforto for the Mets in the opening inning against Jeffrey Rodriguez, 25 years old. Last start came 8 days ago against Miami. And it's hit on the ground right at the second baseman, Defoe. He throws out Rosario, one away.
Nationals defense brought to you by Jeep. And we laden with gold glovers. Spencer Kieboom, not Kaboom or El Kabong behind the plate. Juan Soto, of course, a little rookie sensation out in left field. Michael Taylor gets his first start in this series in center field. Second, excuse me. I stand corrected, Gary. Thank you.
Here's Jeff McNeil riding a 10-game hitting streak, 3 for 7 in this series. The only other double-digit hitting streak for a Mets rookie in the last 4 years. T.J. Rivera last year had an 11-game hitting streak. McNeil's now at 10. And this is a pitcher who is all over the place, and the Mets are going to be as patient as they can with him.
You can get into these counts all day long, or 2-0, 3-1, or you can get a nice cookie first pitch fastball, and if he's in a tight jam.
Even in the minors, he's struggled with walks this year. And he falls behind McNeil 3-0. Rodriguez made 19 starts combined between single A and between double A and triple A. He walked almost 4 per 9 innings. 7-5, 3.40 ERA in the minors. So he had some success, but probably not quite ready at the big league level. He finds the inside corner for a strike, 3-1. Rodriguez last year was an A-ball in the Carolina League for Potomac, and he was suspended for half the year, 80 games, for testing positive for performance-enhancing drugs. So he was only in 12 games last year in A-ball. And here he is in the big leagues walking Jeff McNeil to give the Mets a 1-out base run.
What in the heck they doing steroids in A-ball for? Jeez.
By the way, Rodriguez's Players Weekend jersey says Pizzone.
Pizzone.
I looked it up. There are several different meanings of the word Pizzone. The most charitable one is like paisano, countryman.
That's what I thought. Yes.
So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Unless you want to take it a step further.
No, I think that's just as far as we need to go. Here's Michael Conforto, 1 for 5 in this series. Now, McNeil has stolen a base each of the last 2 days. You don't think of him as a big-time base stealer, but he has picked his spots nicely. And we'll see whether he gets a read on this lanky right-hander.
We'll check out his delivery home and see if he's slow. He's 6'6". He's slow home.
Yeah, thrown to first by Kieboom, and he nearly picked off McNeil. Spencer Kieboom throwing behind the runner and came very close to getting.
Little snap throw here. And that was close.
And right on the bag to Zimmerman. And the Nats will not challenge the call. Conforto slapped one the other way. There's that word again for an RBI single yesterday.
Slashed.
It was nice to see. They left him the open side of the infield late in the game. Mets looking for insurance with a couple of men on, and he took it right through the vacated gap over there and got himself an RBI.
Yeah, it was a big third run he drove in. Big run.
52 RBIs now for Conforto, which leads the current Mets. And Rodriguez picks off the inside, and it's 1-2.
See if Michael can turn it on here. His last 5 weeks, a little less than 5 weeks now. See if he can get himself 70 RBIs by the season end.
Season ends 5 weeks from today.
That's within reach.
Sunday afternoon, September 30th. Curveball knocked down by Kieboom. And it's 2-2 to Conforto with Todd Frazier on deck. Spencer Kieboom getting the start behind the plate for the first time in the series.
He's going to have his hands full today. A little bit of a wild pitcher out there. Nice block.
Rodriguez has been up with the Nationals 3 separate times this year. They've used him for roster flexibility. They've had some injuries to starting pitchers. Strasburg was out for a while. Jeremy Hellickson out. And so Rodriguez has got a chance to fill in on several different occasions.
He got called up initially in early June.
Two coming, and Conforto fouls it back. We've had some pretty outstanding pitching matchups lately, and we've got a couple more on the horizon the next 2 days. Tomorrow in Chicago, Syndergaard against John Lester, and then Tuesday DeGrom against Cole Hamels, who has been perfect since going to the Cubs. 5-0 with an ERA of 0.79 in his first 5 starts with Chicago.
A nice pickup by the Cubs, Cole Hamels, and also Daniel Murphy.
Good changeup by Rodriguez to strike out Conforto, and that's the second out.
Murphy hit his first home run for the Cubs. Second, excuse me. And the off speed. Well, you're facing a new guy. It's all over the place. As a hitter, these kind of guys will drive you crazy because you can't get a pattern because they don't know where it's going. And then all of a sudden, he drop a changeup on you in a good spot, and you're going, oh, jeez, okay, I dare you to do that again next time I face you.
So here's Frazier, who has all of a sudden found the long ball. He's hit 3 home runs in the last 4 games, including one yesterday. 15 home runs now for the year. And really, it's been about 3 weeks now. Todd has really been able to turn it on after missing so much time with injury this year, something he was not accustomed to. Pops one up down the right field side, and that'll make it to the seats. But you know, that's all part of the Mets leading the league in runs scored since the All-Star break. That, you know, Frazier's gotten back healthy, and Mets have gotten production from McNeil and Rosario at the top of the lineup. You see what Todd's capable of, as many as 40 home runs in a season. Did that with the White Sox. McNeil at first with 2 out. Interesting watching the throwing motion of Rodriguez. A little bit of a short arm. He was an infielder when they first signed him and then converted him to the mound.
Yeah, well, that means he had a great arm and he just didn't cut it as a hitter. So they convert him with that golden arm. See if he can find it on the rubber. Ooh.
And a curveball strikes out Frazier, so back-to-back strikeouts for Rodriguez after he walked McNeil. So he's showing off his repertoire.
That's not too bad.
No score after 1. Michael Taylor leads off for the Nationals as we go to the second. Taylor started the first game of this series 0 for 2. Disappointing year for Taylor after a very encouraging season last year when he hit .271 with 19 home runs. And Matt spins a curveball in for a strike, and it's 1-1. Taylor, Defoe, and Keyboom 6, 7, and 8 in the order for the Nationals in the second. And Matt throws a fastball by Taylor, 1-2. Nationals have now gone 28 straight innings without scoring a run. Last time they were shut out 3 straight games, they were the Montreal Expos in 2004, their last year in Montreal. And Matt blows away Taylor with fastballs, his second strikeout of the day. 1 down in the second. It's been a puzzling year for the Nationals on every level. And it was interesting because they made the trade sending Murphy and Adams away, which was basically, to a lot of people, waving the white flag. And then they had a couple of inspiring victories right after that. Bouncer toward the middle, and Rosario runs it down nicely and throws out Defoe. His range to his left is just terrific. And Rosario makes a fine play to get Defoe for the second out.
Well, we look how far left of your screen he is there. That's a long way to go. And I always love the throw on the run, Gare. He does not opt for the spinorama, as you like to say.
No spinorama necessary. So 2 out and nobody on. Now Keyboom. So the Nationals put together a couple of inspiring victories. Right, they had the walk-off against the Phillies on Wednesday, and then they come here after getting shut out by Nola in the last game of the series with the Phillies.
And they go flat.
And, I mean, it's almost like they haven't shown up. Keyboom flies one out to right field. And Bautista puts it away. That retires a side. Easy inning for Matz after a struggling first through just 9 pitches for a 1-2-3 second. No score. On Coney Island, Remember, the Brooklyn Cyclone season is coming to a close soon. So make sure you get down there. Lots going on. Ah, the funnel cake. What's the difference between the funnel cake and the elephant ear?
I don't know. I have no idea.
They're equally unhealthy. There's plenty of powdered sugar on both.
But that's not a difference. It's a likeness.
Right, I know. So I'm trying to differentiate. Maybe the elephant ear is flatter and broader than the funnel cake. Jay Bruce leads off for the Mets in the home second. Third game off the disabled list for Jay, and the returns so far are good. He homered his first game back, doubled in his second game. And after playing 2 games at right field, he's at first base today. For Jay, it's the first time he's had a big league start at first base since May the 31st. Played some there during his minor league rehab as well. But this is the game plan coming down the stretch the last 5 weeks to give Jay plenty of reps at first base. Jeffrey Rodriguez falls behind him 3-0. Bruce, Jackson, and Bautista for the Mets in the second. Rodriguez walked 1 and struck out 2 in the first inning. And that's a borderline strike, 3-1. StatCast AI powered by Amazon Web Services. Full triangle shift against Bruce. And Jay lofts one into shallow right center that'll fall for a base hit. Well, you had 5 guys on that side of the field, and Jay found the space where nobody was playing.
Well, he got it towards the end of the bat. This looked like a 3-1 changeup. A little out in front. No, not really. If anything, it was a little tardy. Let's see if it's a changeup. Oh, it's a heater. Got in on Jay a little bit. That was it.
So the Mets have their first hit of this game, and here's Austin Jackson. Jackson's cooled down a bit on this homestand, just 3 for 23, still hitting .320 through his first 28 games as a Met. Well, one thing about Senor Rodriguez, he is not in a hurry. Wasn't that a character in the Speedy Gonzalez cartoon?
Slowpoke
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Right.
Slowpoke Rodriguez.
Well, here you go. Here he is in person.
I think Slowpoke was smoking something a little wacky in those cartoons.
I never thought we'd meet Slowpoke Rodriguez in person. 2-0 to Jackson. And he takes the fastball for a strike. Rodriguez getting behind everybody early in this game, which is a recipe for disaster.
Yes, sir. Second time through an order. It can happen the first time through the order. Everybody gets familiar with him, and if he's pitching behind the count, he's going to get a spanking.
We'll say Bautista waiting on deck. Bruce at first and nobody out. And Jackson drops a bunt down. Rodriguez has a play at second. He bounces it, and Turner bails him out by picking it up. Now Jackson clearly trying to bunt for a hit, but too hard and too straight back to the pitcher. Rodriguez makes a mistake, but Turner a nice play.
Well, he does the right move. He just kind of got a little Archie Bell there on the throw. At least he gave him the long hop.
It's not like he has a first baseman's mitt there, you know. Not designed to pick those balls out of the dirt. But it worked out well enough for the Nationals. Jackson now at first with 1 out. And here's Bautista. We'll see if Jackson has any thoughts about stealing a base. I know base runners, even if they're accomplished base stealers, tend to be pretty cautious the first time they see a pitcher until they get a read on his move.
Well, that would make sense. And also, you don't have to be on first base, really. You can be watching intently from the dugout, Gary.
McNeil got on base in the first inning, never made a move. Bautista at the plate, 0 for 5 in this series. And he bluffs a bunt. How about that? With Rendon playing deep at third. Maybe just taking the pitch and trying to put a little thought in their minds. But that's 3 straight hitters in this inning now. Rodriguez has fallen behind 2-0. And a borderline strike, 2-1. Tomas Nido is hitting 8th in the order. He's on deck. Nido getting a start today after Kevin Plawecki started the first 2 games of the series. Devin Mesoraco's neck still iffy. Probably be a day or 2 before he's ready to start. Although he could catch in an emergency. Mets carrying 3 catchers. Foul back, and it's 2-2. Well, you can see the stuff that the Nationals like from Jeffrey Rodriguez. Here's Nido. Tell you one part of the Players Weekend uniform I like for the Nationals. I like the black W on the red hat.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't like the two-tone hat. I never liked two-tone hats.
Yeah.
Didn't the Reds used to have two-tone hats back in the Frank Robinson days?
The Braves have had them.
Yep.
Two coming, and the curveball just off the plate, and a full count to Bautista.
What do you think of the collar, Gary, with that little white
I'm not a fan of that.
It looks like a T-shirt or golf vest.
Didn't the Reds used to have that as well? That
not sure.
V-neck, different color on their neckline. 3-2 with 1 out. Jackson at first. He's running. Bautista pops it up. Zimmerman should have a play. Jackson hustles back to first. 2 out. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get New York Mets home screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Wow. Download MLB at Bat today. It's a great app. You ever have it on your phone? The MLB at Bat app?
I do.
Outstanding. There's Tomas Nido, first big league game since the 27th of May. He was with the Mets quite a bit in April and May when Travis d'Arnaud and Kevin Plawecki both got hurt about the same time. Remember, Nido and Jose Lobaton were holding down the catching for several weeks before the Mets got Devin Mesoraco. Nido making his 14th start for the Mets this season. 44 big league at bats. Hit .274 in Double-A this year with 5 home runs. Also had a smattering of games in Triple-A, and he fouls one away. Nido was a former minor league batting champ. He won a batting championship in the Florida State League. But they value him more for his defensive skills than for his bat. And he certainly is still considered a potential catcher of the future for the Mets. Grounded down to first and handled by Zimmerman, and that retires a side. Leadoff hit, but the Mets strand one. No score after 2.
And that big night of September 8th, a two-game series with the Cubs. In the bottom of the first, AG gets knocked down by Chicago pitcher Bill Hands. Koosman comes back in the top of the second, and whoops, feelings run high. The Mets and the Cubs are locked in combat. New York just 2.5 games behind the DeRocher crew.
Jerry Koosman did not mess around.
No, he was the enforcer of that Met rotation.
And that was Ron Santo. He hit in the wrist, and Santo's season was basically hampered from there. Meanwhile, AG went on a tear after that, after Bill Hands knocked him down.
Yeah, that's how you get even.
Mets went from 2.5 behind starting that September series to winning the division by 8 games.
Rusty Staub, our dear friend, used to speak of Kuzi, strike 3 inside corner. Used to speak fondly of Kuz as the enforcer of that on that ball club on the mound. No messing around with Jerry.
Well, there are some of the particulars on Jerry Koosman. 222 big league wins, 140 of them with the Mets. He was 1A to Tom Seaver's 1, and a sparkling 1A he was.
76 was the year, first year he won 20, correct?
Yes, and then the next year he lost 20.
Then he went to Minnesota and won 20 back, right?
And he wound up with the White Sox and the Phillies. 2-0 to Adam Eaton, who had a base hit his first time up. Eaton's gotten on base 5 times in a row now. 4 times yesterday, and that first pitch single that he hit by Frazier his first time up today, slashed it. Shows the button, takes outside 3-0.
Yes, I'm listening.
Like the word police.
Slash.
3-1 to Eaton. Trey Turner waits on deck. Eaton's hitting just 161 against lefties this year. Didn't start against Vargas the other night. Takes a strike here, and it's 3-2. But in the lineup today against Mats. And that's already paid off for Dave Martinez with a hit. But the Nats still can't score 29 straight innings without a run. A little slap back to the mound. That's a slap, Keith. I don't know what you call that.
That's a slap.
That's 2 out.
Sometimes hitters will slap.
I love when we agree.
Especially when we're just 2 of us in the booth. This makes the broadcast go so much smoother when we're in agreement together.
Well, because, you know, when you have 3 majority rules, but, you know, when there are only 2 and there's a split decision, there's no third judge.
Folks, when there's 3 in the booth, majority does not rule. King.
Now, that's just simply not true. If you and Ron agree on something, I'm not even in the conversation.
That's true. We kind of dust them aside.
Happy to be shunted, Keith. Very happy to be shunted, if not shunned.
Oh, I love day games. I love working day games with you, Gary, Al down on the camera below us.
In camera 2.
Is that what he is, too? Yeah.
He still hasn't been promoted. He's still number 2. It's like Avis.
We got Russ in the background.
Hi there, Al.
Russ in the orange. Red.
See, that's what Al aspires to. That's Rob on camera 1.
Camera 1, that's right.
Now, my question is, why is the third base camera 1? Who decided that? That's too high. Full count. Our wonderful, beloved late director, Bill Webb, designated the numbers for the cameras, and he made the third base camera number 1 and home plate number 2. Why did he do that?
I don't know, but I know one thing. Line drive base hit opposite field by Turner. And that is ripped, not slashed. That's ripped into right center.
Driven.
Yes. As a
corked.
I know. I heard Al would do anything to be in camera one. Al gets to be in the shade the whole game. Man, those guys are down there when it's hot. They're in the heat.
So you're saying Al has basically scammed them all?
Yeah, Al's
by getting camera.
Look at there you go.
There's Dave Chesney, who we saw his beautiful hat the other day, but now he's kind of downgraded.
And folks, this is the A team too. We have such a great crew here. As you witnessed, what was the first series with the broken bat?
See, what I love is the teamwork involved, because when we show a cameraman, remember that a different cameraman has to be taking the shot. So there's no, there's no ego involved.
Oh,
you
see, never goes smoothly.
You never know when you're going to get whacked by the peanut guy. Is that where the term peanut gallery came from?
Uh-huh.
No, that was Howdy Doody, right?
Really?
I think that's Buffalo Bob Smith. Did he invent the peanut gallery?
Howdy Doody, I was just a little bit too young for it. Captain Kangaroo was coming in.
Yeah, we've lost everybody under 60.
Mr. Green Jeans.
Tom Terrific.
Oh, Krabby Appleton.
Lariat Sam. 1-0 to Rendon, and he pulls it down to third, and that tough hop handled by Frazier, and he gets the force to end the inning. Nicely done by Frazier. That was not easy. A hit and one left. 30 straight innings without a run for the Nats. Per ticket is an amazing way to enjoy a Mets game at Citi Field. Your Shake Shack pack includes a Mets game ticket, a single Shack burger, and a shake. Tickets are subject to availability. Purchase your Shake Shack pack today at Mets.com/Shake Shack pack.
That's a tough read.
Jeffrey Rodriguez goes back to the mound for the bottom of the third. Steven Matz leads off for New York. Steven is 3 for 36 at the plate this year. In his last start, he drove one to the warning track in left center that looked like it might have the legs to get out, and Hunter Pence made a nice over-the-shoulder catch to retire him. He hits this one to short on one hop, and Turner snags it. 1 out. SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. So now the Mets start their second time through the batting order against this rookie right-hander. 9 batters for Rodriguez, and he's thrown a first pitch strike to only 2 of them. We'll see how the Mets adjust second time around. Rosario grounded out to second base, his first at bat. By the way, our buddy Bob Waterman from Elias tells us the 30-inning run drought for the Nationals is the longest in the majors this year. It'll surprise you that previous long. Back in late April, early May, the Astros went 28 straight innings without a run. And now the Nationals have eclipsed that. Astros more recently doing just fine. They put up 8 last night. Good breaking ball by Rodriguez, 1-2. But the A's are hanging tough. Oakland beat Minnesota last night. Jonathan Lucroy had a big night. Homer 4 RBIs, and they stay a game and a half behind Houston. And they have firm possession of the second wild card, 4 games up on Seattle. Despite the milestone last night for the Mariners, Edwin Diaz, his 50th save. First Mariner ever to do that. Fly ball out to right center, and Taylor is there to retire Rosario, 2 out. The American League wild card's pretty simple. Yankees, Oakland, and then Seattle hoping to get back in. Yankees, by the way, by sweeping a doubleheader and Boston losing the first 2 of their series with Tampa Bay, the Yankees are only 7 games behind the Red Sox, closest they've been in a few weeks.
And the Yankees have 2 more series with the Red Sox, I should say.
And look at Tampa Bay. They've been red hot. They've won 7 in a row, and if they win today, they would become the first team all season to sweep a series from the Red Sox. So it's a little tighter than it has been. Boston's having probably the worst 10-day stretch they've had all year. They had 3 straight losses earlier in the week, and now have lost the first 2 to Tampa Bay.
Yep, they are due for a little bump in the road. The Yankees only 6 games back in the loss column, too, if you didn't notice. That's more important. A lot of rain this year, a lot of doubleheaders.
Yankees have won 7 of 8 after their sweep yesterday. They play tonight in Baltimore. 2-1 to McNeil, who drew a walk his first time up. Michael Conforto would be next, but Jeffrey Rodriguez has a chance for his first 1-2-3 inning as number 68 battles number 68. Not sure I've ever seen that in a big league game before.
Spring training.
Little flare, shallow left, and that's going to fall for a hit for McNeil. He now has an 11-game hitting streak, matching the 11-game rookie streak that T.J. Rivera put up last year.
Well, he is red hot. Everything's dropping here. Look at the 2-inch, 3-inch choke up on that very peculiar bat handle. He just overpowered here a little bit, got beat, but flared it in.
So the hits continue to fall. He's got a long way to go to catch the Mets' rookie hitting streak record. You know who that is, right, kid? Your old pal Mike Vail.
My first minor league roommate.
Snap throw to first, and again McNeil gets back. Second time that Keyboom has tried that against McNeil. Yeah, Mike Vail came to the big leagues and had a 23-game hitting streak almost right off the bat.
I remember.
Late in the season. Was it 75, I think?
He just had a hard time catching the ball, didn't he?
Yes, he was not a particularly gifted defensive outfielder. The 11-game hitting streak also matches a Mets season high. Wilmer Flores the last to do that. And Conforto takes low and in. 1-1. So McNeil just continues to get it done. Let's see. Base hit today. Now hitting .343 through his first 105 at bats. That'll play. Especially in a year when base hits across the game are harder to come by than ever before. I mean, the highest batting average among qualifiers in the National League is .317. Freddie Freeman leading the league. .317. That's like, you know, we're talking about 1968.
Almost.
Year of the pitcher.
It was just Yastrzemski hit 300 in the American League that year, right?
But
When
Pete
he won.
Rose hit 335, didn't he, in the lead the National League?
Yes.
But that was after that season. That's when they lowered the mound from 15 inches to 10 inches. And a couple of years later, the American League put in the designated hitter to try and increase offense. The issues now are a little bit different. It's not just power pitching, but power hitting as well. And that's ball 4, and Conforto's aboard. Second walk given up by Rodriguez. And the Mets have 2 out and 2 on with Frazier coming up. And a trip to the mound for Derek Lilliquist, the Nationals pitching coach. Will this be the year that the Jets' young defense will bring their game to the next level? Join Jonas Schwartz, Ray Lucas, Willie Colon, and new addition Bart Scott as they bring their unique perspective on all the major storylines from training camp on Jets Nation Inside Camp tonight at 7, only on SNY. Lengthy discussion. Lilliquist is gone, and the home plate umpire Nick Lentz has to break up the further conversation. So the Mets have a runner in scoring position for the first time today. And Todd Frazier will try and drive the run in. McNeil at second, Conforto at first with 2 down. Frazier struck out his first time up. Rodriguez struck him out with a curveball. And Todd lays off that curveball, and Keyboom keeps it in front of him. Ball 1.
Take a look at the hands when he comes to the belt on the stretch. Rodriguez here, kind of very low, right around the belt buckle, if not lower.
I would think if you have your hands that low, it's hard to be quick to the plate, right?
Yes.
Because the arm has to come up before you do anything else. Remember when they had Doc hold his hands so high to try and get him to be quicker
Yes,
to the plate?
I vaguely remember that. I agree with Ronnie. Just have them improve their move. Don't change their motion. So, Gary, this is something I didn't know. You're talking about 1968, the top 10 hitters in the National League. There were only 4 hitters that hit over 300.
Yeah, and only 1 in the American League.
5 hitters. Pete Rose, 335. Matty Alou, 332. Philippe Alou, 317. Alex Johnson, 312. And Kurt Flood, 301. I did not realize that. 6 guys hit 300 in the major leagues.
Frazier skies one to center, easy for Taylor. And that retires the side, so the Mets strand a couple in the 3rd, and Steven Matz will head back to the mound for the 4th inning. Still no score at Citi Field. that represented Staten Island. The Mid-Island Little League was on the field at Citi Field today. That's got to be a thrill for those kids.
Oh, I'll say.
Some of them showing off their arms. Took a little batting practice too. Ryan Zimmerman leads off in the 4th inning. We check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Gary, their coach is Joe Calabrese, and you mentioned that it had to be a thrill for those kids. I'm sure it was a thrill for the coach as well. Joe, you guys have had such amazing experiences here over the last couple of months. What was today like, though, for these kids to get out on a big league field and interact with big leaguers?
I mean, today was a special. I mean, as anything that these kids did, it was unbelievable. The Mets have been, their hospitality has been absolutely tremendous. They've taken care of these kids so well. It's like surreal. Kids got the opportunity to come on the field. They did a stretch with the strength and conditioning coach. They long toss, they threw, they shagged some fly balls. Then they took a regular BP on the field, and it was amazing. Players came out talking to the kids. It was surreal. It really was.
Is there any one moment or interaction that sticks out to you watching the kids either today or that Sunday night game where the Mets pitcher surprised them and sat with them in the stands?
I mean, the whole thing. I mean, the players have been so gracious. Todd Frazier, I mean, he's been out. He was out of the whole BP today. I mean, he experienced that Little League World Series, so he knows what it's about and everything like that. So everything they've done, I mean, everything the Mets have done has been just top notch. I can't say enough about the Wilpon family, how they treated these kids. Jeff himself went to the snack stand and was bringing ice cream over to them. I mean, they just went above and beyond, and it's much appreciated.
Double for Zimmerman to lead off this inning. Joe, we see the end result here, but this is such a long process for these kids to even get to the level that you guys got to. When is the moment where you start thinking, okay, this Little League team is not just any Little League team, we can do something special?
We started this season June 1st for All-Stars, but this started for us 3 years ago. At that moment when they're 10-year-old All-Stars, we start talking about Williamsport, and that's the dream. That's what we're building towards. These are stepping stones to get there. And, they just keep working. They work hard in the winter workouts and stuff like that. But after last year, our 11-year-old season, we won the state. We went undefeated. We won Rule 10 of the 11 games we played. So we knew we had something really special there. And that winter, we worked really hard. The spring came. They continued to work. And, things just took off from there.
You say this dream started when they were 10 years old. We forget. I mean, this is such a big spotlight for 10, 11, 12-year-old kids. How do you keep their heads in the right place? I imagine it can be an overwhelming experience at times.
It is at times, but we had dreams, goals. We set goals. Our goal was to get to Williamsport and win the League World Series. So when we got there, I'm not saying we expected to be there, but we kind of expected to be there. Like, we had dreams of being there, but we worked hard and we thought we were a team that could get there, and we did get there. When we got there, we just told them, keep playing, and let's try to get a banner and take it home.
Yeah. Well, Joe Calabrese, I know that you didn't reach the ultimate goal that you guys wanted, but an incredible run, incredible experience. Congratulations on it all, and soak in the rest of the day.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, Joe Calabrese, Staten Island. They were incredible, guys. Back to you.
Thanks, Dave, and congratulations to the Mid-Island Little League from Staten Island for their success this year. Meanwhile, Ryan Zimmerman with an opposite field double, and then quite a play by Rosario with Zimmerman right in front of him, bobbling the ground ball and then recovering to throw out Soto. Now Michael Taylor at the plate as the Nats try and break this long scoreless drought. And Taylor takes a fastball inside from Matz, and Steven for the second time in this inning is behind 3-1. More Defoe on deck. Taylor struck out his first time up, and the changeup in for a strike, and it's 3-2. Mets have been getting Taylor out with high fastballs throughout this series, and he gets it with a changeup instead. So Taylor's had 4 at-bats in this series, struck out all 4. And now Matz has a chance to get through the inning unscathed.
Right under it. He's on it, but under.
So 4 strikeouts for Matz, and Zimmerman still stuck at second after a leadoff double. Now 2 out, and here's Wilmer Defoe. Rosario made a fine play going to his left to throw him out his first time up. Defoe's a switch hitter, has had far more success as a left-hand batter. He's hitting just 182 from this side of the plate. And Matz and Nito have trouble getting together. First big late start for Nito since late May. So he and Matz getting back on the same page. Your Spectrum high-speed pitch. It's Rodriguez by a deuce.
That's a rarity where the Mets are out smoked.
Usually only when Vargas is on the mound. But Matz has met his match in velocity anyway. And Defoe thinking about a bunt, which is a horrible play with a runner at second and 2 out. But the pitch missed, ball 1. I mean, why would you think about doing that?
You got me, Gary.
I mean, you got the number 8 hitter on deck. All you're doing is basically leaving it to the next guy. He pops it up into shallow right. Bautista coming on to call, and that retires the side. A leadoff double, but again the Nats failed to score at 31 straight innings without a run. As Matz gets the job done, still no score. Well, we just showed the Mid-Island Little League from Staten Island, so it's a Staten Island kind of day. Beautiful day in New York. Good day for the pitchers so far. Steven Matz has held the Nats off the board through the first 4. Jeffrey Rodriguez, in just his 6th start, has 3 scoreless innings under his belt. Jay Bruce leads off the home 4th and takes up outside for ball 1. Jay dumped a base hit into right center, leading off the 2nd. Nats have had 2 hits in this game. Neither one has been hit hard. Rodriguez has walked a pair. And this is down. And for the umpteenth time in this game, he's fallen behind 2-0. It's kind of been his pattern. Bruce, Jackson, and Bautista for the Mets in the 4th. So we've chronicled the Nationals' offensive woes, right? Been shut out 3 straight games. First 4 innings of this game, 31 innings. If you're looking ahead, It's only happened 3 times in the last 50 years that a team's been shut out 4 straight games. But it happened last year. Fly ball out to left field, back toward the corner, and tracked down by Soto. And Bruce retired, 1 out.
Run down by Soto nicely.
And nice adjustment on that ball as he
Yeah, he did.
So 1 out and nobody on. Last year, the Kansas City Royals were shut out for 4 straight games. The only other times it's happened in the last 50 years, the Cubs in 1992, the Braves in 1985. And that's what the Nats are trying to avoid today. Jackson takes a strike. As for the Mets, in the last 30 years, they've only had 1 instance where they've had 3 straight shutouts. And that was pretty memorable because it was against the Phillies in 2010 when the Phillies had, you know, their great teams. And it was, I think, in May of that season. And the Mets shut the Phillies out 3 straight games at Citi Field. And that's the only time it's happened for the Mets, 3 straight shutouts since 1989. But that's a long way away.
We were a lot younger back then, Gare.
Weren't we all? The world was younger then. It was long ago and far away. The world was younger than today.
You're waxing poetic.
It was Janice Ian. 2-2 to Jackson. And he fouls one off Keyboom and back. And that went Keyboom right off his helmet. And he didn't even flinch. It took a huge bounce up over the screen and about 40 rows back into the stands.
It's quite a carom.
Ricochet.
What was that song by Janice Ian that was very was a Society Girl? Was that
was Society's Child.
Child,
but
right.
that one was at 17. That song.
Right.
But Society's Child was the one she wrote when she was 14 years old.
And that was an
amazing.
extraordinary for its time too.
Yeah.
It was extraordinary.
7th pitch of the at bat coming from Rodriguez to Jackson. And he struck him out with a curveball. Nicely done by Rodriguez for his 3rd strikeout. So he has been impressive.
He's got a nice hook.
And he's not always sure of where it's going, but his stuff is outstanding.
The Mets just haven't been able to take advantage of his fastball because he's going to give you the heater.
Give him the heater, Ricky. Here's Jose Bautista, who fouled out to first base his first time up. Oh, there's a relic. Mets Cologne jersey. See, Bart went on the DL for Texas. His back's been acting up. 45 years old, bad back. Might be a signal from Mother Nature. Bautista pops one foul.
Again.
Zimmerman has room. And that retires the side. So Rodriguez has his first 1-2-3 inning of the afternoon. Now we have a scoreless game as we go to the 5th at Citi Field.
by Old Dominion Freight Line, official freight carrier of MLB. Visit odfl.com for more information. Well, here we are in the top of the fifth, and we are in a scoreless game, another pitcher's duel, and we have had a series of these here, and the Nationals are just trying to find a way to score a run.
Spencer Keyboom pops one up into shallow right. Bautista shading his eyes, stays with it. One pitch, one out for Matz in the fifth. 31 innings, not a run. Now, when a team gets into a run like this, Keith, what's the mood like? What's the tendency like in the dugout? I mean, guys just trying to hit a home run to break the streak. Are they conscious of it? How does that work?
They're aware of it, and I think they start squeezing the bat a little bit tighter collectively when there are men in scoring position in particular. And someone's got to break it up. I mean, Roger McDowell would go. It was very rare that our 80s teams would have go through a tough patch offensively. Strike three right there. But Roger McDowell would go when they're in the national anthem, and he would shake up the bats real loud when our backs were turned, and it'd scare us. He did it in Dodger Stadium over 4th of July once. He put around 2 packs of firecrackers in our bat rack and tied them together and lit them in the middle of the national anthem. Everybody about jumped out of their uniform.
Were the bats okay?
The bats were okay. They were smoking.
Well, I would assume you try everything. We saw yesterday, right? The first 2 batters of the game both bunted. Eaton was successful and Turner not, but you do anything you can to try and change the equation.
Someone's got to drive it in. Someone's got to get him over the hump or out of the rut.
Beautiful play by Frazier on the slash by Eaton. Then he throws him out. Side retired. Well, Eaton hit one by him to his right earlier in the game. This one to his left, and Frazier was equal to the task. Halfway through, no score. Isn't it? Empire State Building, front and center, all the gorgeous architecture. Tomas Nido leads off in the home 5th inning in a scoreless game and takes a curveball for a strike from Jeffrey Rodriguez. Nido grounded out to first base in his first at bat in his first start since May the 27th.
Oops.
Ball loose on the warning track. Ball boy is on the field as the pitch is thrown, and Nito pops one up into shallow center, and Taylor comes on to get it. That should not have happened. Ball boy was running onto the field, retrieving that ball on the warning track as the pitch was thrown. Well, we want to introduce a new segment that we like to call the minor league name game. All across professional baseball over the last dozen or so years, minor league franchises have been coming up with new and more creative ways of marketing their team, and often inventive team names. And we figured we'd start close to home with the Mets AA affiliate, the former Binghamton Mets, who are now known as the Rumble Ponies. They're in their second year as the Rumble Ponies. And you hear the carousel music because the Rumble Ponies were inspired by a book called The Carousel. Now, what's a little incongruous is that you look at the logo and you think of a carousel and the horses on the merry-go-round as being delightful creatures.
Yes.
Very happy, but look how angry the Rumble Pony is.
Well, the Rumble Pony, you see, he's got the boxing gloves on. He's got the championship belt on. He's got his boxer's shoes on. It represents the pride, passion, and strong fighting spirit. That's what they wanted to reflect in the logo, and I think that reflects it nicely.
Now, when the Binghamton franchise decided that they wanted to change their name from the mundane Mets to something more creative, there's ball 4 and Matz is on base. They had over 1,500 submissions. Here are some of the names that did not win out because the fans got to help choose the name. The Bullheads, the Gobblers, the Rocking Horses, the Stud Muffins, and the Timber Jockeys. I think Rumble Points. I think they got it right. They got the best possible.
Well, yeah, there was another one I liked. Let me see that, Karen. So I don't want you to read it again.
No, I'm definitely not doing that. Mets have a one-out base runner. Third walk given up by Rodriguez. And, they still have Binghamton across their chest on their road jerseys, and they have an alternate jersey that says New York across the front, but they have a blue batting practice jersey that says Rumble in silver lettering. Rumble.
Ready to rumble?
I mean, it sounds like the Jets and the Sharks. And here's the kicker, of course, because there's the carousel reference that Binghamton is known as the carousel capital of the world.
Well,
so
there you go.
Fits the local flavor.
Absolutely.
Carousel silver, fire red, and Binghamton blue are the official colors of the Binghamton Rumble Ponies. Big cut by Rosario, who has grounded out and flied out 0 for 2. So that's the first installment of the minor league name game.
Okay, and I'm sure you folks out there are waiting. Will be waiting in bated breath for the next episode.
There are so many candidates now. I mean, this started. I'm trying to remember when the first one I became aware of that was of great note in terms of its unique character was the Lansing Lugnuts, and that's probably 10 or 15 years ago. But they might pop up along the way.
The what was it? The Savannah Sand Gnats.
Right.
Can't say I cared for that one.
Popped up along the right field line. Eaton with a long run to get there, and in foul ground right up against the sidewall he does. Nicely done by Eaton. He was starting to run out of room. 2 out.
Trying to think. On my first year in St. Petersburg in the Florida State League, I think we were the St. Petersburg Cardinals. Went to AA Little Rock in the Texas League, and we were the Arkansas Travelers. And then went to Tulsa, Oklahoma in AAA, which was a very apropos a nickname was the Tulsa Oilers.
Right.
It was at that point in the early 70s was the corporate capital of U.S. oil.
Well, there are also some, there are some creative nicknames that predate this recent era of minor league rebranding. probably the most long-running and successful minor league team name that has caught national attention. It got helped out by a very popular TV series, and that's the Toledo Mud Hens.
Yes.
Which
I kind of like that.
You know, Jamie Farr wore their hat proudly on MASH, and that just increased their national visibility.
Our uniforms, my first year in Tulsa with the Oilers, Gary, on the road, solid black with yellow numbers. So we were like, hey, black gold.
Texas tees. McNeil lays off, and it's 2-1. Jeff's been on base twice already today. A walk and a bloop single to left. Now has an 11-game hitting streak going.
And again, a 2-1 count. McNeil showing really nice plate discipline. Strike zone awareness.
And he grounds one down to Zimmerman. And that retires the side. So Jeffrey Rodriguez matches Matz with 5 scoreless innings. Where do we go from here? Straight to the carousel for the Rumble Ponies. No score after 5 at Citi Field.
Met General Manager Johnny Murphy, former Commissioner Ford Frick, Commissioner Bowie Kuhn, and former Met Manager Casey Stengel. That's Phil Rizzuto at bat, Walker Cooper behind the plate. There's former Washington Senator Mickey Vernon, with old-time Pirate pitcher Vernon Law doing great in the outfield.
Trey Turner drives one deep left field. Conforto back, and it's out of here.
No.
Did it go over the wall? No, it stayed in play.
I think it hit the corner, the top corner.
It hit that orange line. I thought it might have hit the railing behind, but we're going to see.
Oh, boy, that is.
Did it hit the railing? I can't tell from that.
I think it hit the fence first.
It definitely hit the orange line first. The question is, did it hit the railing behind it before it came down?
They're gonna have to have a look at this.
David Martinez wants the umpires to initiate a crew chief review, and why wouldn't they on a ball that close? So Turner, if he didn't hit a home run, came within an inch And they are going to check it out with Chelsea and see whether the Nats have snapped their scoring drought, which stands at 32 innings, unless this call gets overturned. We'll see what views we can take of it while they check it out in the replay center. Ted Barrett's crew and Joe West's crew.
I think it's going to be a double.
Okay, so see the ball come down. It hit the orange line.
The question is, did it hit the?
Yeah, did it hit the railing
and then come back
and come up? It's really hard to tell from that angle.
I almost want to think that it hit the fence behind us. It's a four-bagger.
It's really hard to tell from the straight-on view, and I don't know if anybody has a side view that would help the replay umpires make a call. And if they don't have a definitive look, then it will have to stand as a double because that's what it was ruled on the field. Ball goes up.
Boy, oh boy, I tell you, it's got to be. Can we get that in super slow? Here's real time. It's just difficult.
Normally when that ball goes up like that, it goes back and hits that fence.
That's my feeling.
It's that railing and comes back, but it's really hard to tell. And there does not appear to be any better view of it. So I don't know what they're going to decide. I would assume if they don't get a better view, now we don't know what shots the Washington TV feed has, but if they don't have anything that's more definitive than that, they may have to leave it a double, even if they suspect it might be a home run. One more look at it.
It just seems like where it hit, it would overpower the fence, right? And keep its momentum going forward.
I would suspect that every once in a while those balls hit the top of the fence and just come back. Let's see.
Tough call.
And they say it is not a home run, so they don't have a definitive look. And so, I mean, everything is working against the Nats. I mean, it might have been a home run. I have no idea.
Right.
Based on what we saw. But because there was no definitive view to overturn the call, it remains a double, and the Nats still haven't scored. Second time in the last 3 innings, Matz has given up a leadoff double. Zimmerman double leading off the 4th, but he was left stranded. And now the Nats with another chance to chase a run around. This time with their 3 and 4 hitters coming up, Rendon and Zimmerman.
Let's see if Rendon tries to get the runner over, be the good soldier here.
He's flied out and hit into a force plate today, 0 for 2, 2 for 10 in the series. Nats in this series are 1 for 17 with runners in scoring position, 0 for 4 today. Turner, of course, has great speed. He could think about stealing third, and Matz is cognizant of that. McNeil playing right at the bag at second base. And Rendon takes a borderline strike. He didn't think so. But Nick Lentz has called that outside corner aggressively with the right-hand batter. I always feel with the home plate umpire that pitch is a bit of a guess. All right, he's got his head inside the catcher on the inside corner, and he's got to call the pitch on the outside corner.
You know, look at the defensive positioning on the infield with McNeil right behind second base. It's a situation where the hitter is going to try to get the ball to the right side of the infield. You'd think that you'd maybe have McNeil shielded on the other side of the bag, the right side of the bag a little bit instead of the left, just to give yourself a little insurance. Remember, he can cover to his left or right, either direction on the ball hitting the ground.
Does it make a difference that Matz is a guy who tends to pitch inside?
But now you got, 2 strikes as well, and it's a situation where a guy's trying to get a runner over. And we've seen Rendon go the other way.
He tried to go to right, and he fouled it off.
He's already hit a fly ball to right field today. So I got to think that Matz is going to pound him in. Or throw a change up and try to get him to roll it over.
And Rendon bangs it up the middle. That's a base hit. Turner goes to third. He'll be held up there because he had to hesitate on the line drive. And Rendon hit it so hard, I'm not sure it mattered where the defense was playing.
Well, if I hit it on the other side of that bag, and I know it's just one, if he's the same spot on the other side, he maybe makes that play. But, you know, you're playing, it's like DraftKings. They're playing percentages.
Really? So first and third and nobody out, and if the Nats are ever going to score, you'd figure it's their opportunity. Mets going to play back for the double play so they could even score a run with the Mets getting 2 outs.
They got a couple cracks at it, at least, minimum.
And Zimmerman takes a hack at a fastball. Zimmerman has walked and doubled to right field. 32 straight innings without a run. Meanwhile, Met pitchers have now thrown 24 straight innings without a run. But that very much in jeopardy in a scoreless game in the 6th. Ball and a strike to Zimmerman with Juan Soto on deck. And that just missed inside. 2 balls and a strike. Turner at third, Rendon at first. And the curveball sits high, and now Matt's behind on Zimmerman, 3-1. Stevens only walked today, went to Zimmerman in the first, and then he fell behind him 3-1 in the 4th before Zimmerman doubled. Now he's behind him 3-1 again. And he fouls back the fastball. He challenged him 3-2. See if they run Rendon in this spot.
I don't think you want to strike him out, throw him out.
Not going.
Oh.
And it's in there. Strike 3 call. Wow. Talk about paralysis. Zimmerman with a chance to break the Nats' long drought, and he takes a fastball for strike 3. 6 strikeouts now for Mats. 1 out in the inning.
And it is.
Still is. So now Soto. Nito steps out to give signals to the infield about how to handle it if Rendon takes off from first. Remember, you have the speedster and Turner at third. Soto has struck out and grounded out 0 for 2. Now a double play could get Mats through the inning. And a first pitch changeup in for a strike.
Well, let's see what young Soto's approach is going to be here. I have a hunch it's going to be an excellent approach up the middle.
Slowly hit. That's going to get a run in. Matt's covering, and they get the out at first. But in to score is Turner, and after 32 fruitless innings, the Nationals have finally scored a run. It's 1-0 Washington. So Soto just hit a dribbler. The 3-1 putout brings in Turner with the first run of this game. It had been a long time.
Long time since they've been given high fives in that dugout.
Wednesday night. Walk-off homer by Zimmerman the last time they scored. Matt's just getting his foot to the bag ahead of Soto as they got the out there. Have to reach back for that throw from Bruce. Rendon to second on the play. And Michael Taylor takes the slider low and in for ball 1. Taylor's been up twice, struck out both times. So that snaps a string of 24 consecutive scoreless innings for the Mets pitching staff, as well as stopping the Nationals' major league long streak this year of 32 innings without a run. The Nationals have their bullpen up. Their rookie right-hander Jeffrey Rodriguez has turned in 5 scoreless innings, 83 pitches. But they're going to have somebody ready just in case. His spot in the batting order is still 3 batters away. And Taylor takes a changeup out of the strike zone, 2-1. Meanwhile, in Toronto, the Phillies lead the Blue Jays 5-2 in the 5th, but Kendrys Morales has homered again for Toronto.
Wow.
He's now homered in 7 straight games, one shy of a major league record. Fastball has Taylor swinging 2-2. So Kendrys Morales, only 21 home runs for the year, but homers in 7 straight games. Matt Grace up in the Nationals bullpen. 2-2. And he missed with that changeup, but just barely. 3-2. That's working at a very fast clip right now. Rendon at second and 2 out. And Taylor fouls off the fastball. Taylor's had 4 at-bats in this series and has struck out in all 4. Really the story of his year. Sixth full count of the game for Matz, who has walked 1 and struck out 6, giving up 1 run and 5 hits. 3-2 coming. Struck him out. Number 7 for Matz, who yielded to run but nothing more. 1-0 Nationals in the 6th. Mets box score presented by Tri-Acura. Not much to see. McNeil hit an 11th straight game. Jay Bruce is hitting all 3 off the DL. Those are the only 2 hits against Jeffrey Rodriguez, who has never gotten an out in the 6th inning in the major leagues in any of his starts. He's got a chance to do that today with a 1-0 lead, but the bullpen is ready behind him. Michael Conforto has struck out and walked today. And Rodriguez misses inside, a ball and a strike. Rodriguez has walked 3, struck out 3, allowed just those 2 hits. Tim Collins, the lefty, Jimmy Cordero, the righty, up in the Washington bullpen. And Conforto fouls one away, 1-2. Todd Frazier and Jay Bruce to follow for the Mets in the 6th. Mets are heading to Chicago after the game today. They open their series at Wrigley Field tomorrow night. Cubs are hot. They've won 4 straight. Opened up a 4-game lead in the NL Central. Coverage begins at 7:30 tomorrow night right here on SNY. Noah Syndergaard against John Lester in the opening game of the series tomorrow. Cole Hamels has been fantastic since joining the Cubs. Javier Baez, 97 RBIs to lead the National League. He's an MVP candidate. Hooked on the ground into the shift. Defoe throwing from deep, and he gets Conforto for the first down. Oh, and Daniel Murphy. He's doing okay. He's hitting .368 since joining the Cubs.
How many games?
4. Of course, he's a lifetime .407 hitter at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, he likes Wrigley. Who doesn't?
And the Cubs have been hitting home runs, not just Murph. 17 home runs their last 10 games. They've never led by more than 4.5 this year, and they're up by 4 in the division right now. Here's Frazier, and he gets thrown behind. That's interesting.
Well, he's gotten him out twice. There's no reason. That one just got away.
Maybe after Eaton got hit yesterday.
I don't think so. Why wait to the 6th inning?
Because he's probably going to be leaving the game soon. Does that make any sense?
No. If you're going to, and why Frazier?
Because he wants us to say down goes Frazier. That kicks away from Kieboom, and it's 3-0.
Maybe they think he is the Todd father.
Or maybe Rodriguez, like we've been saying for most of the afternoon, really just doesn't have a whole lot of clue where the ball's going. 1-0 game. See if Todd's swinging 3-0. Jay Bruce on deck. And he takes ball 4. That's the 4th walk given up by Rodriguez. And Frazier shoots him a little glance on the way to first base. While Frazier plays here, David Wright plays third base in St. Lucie. He had a couple of hits last night as his rehab stint continues.
When's the last time he's been in a big league field? Yeah?
May of 2016 was the last game.
And it wasn't very long.
2.5 seasons.
Right. He's missed so much. I mean, my goodness.
So here's Bruce, who's 1 for 2 on the day. Single to right center in the 2nd. One of only 2 hits for the Mets. So Rodriguez has now gone deeper into this game than in any of his big league starts. He went 5 innings plus against the Marlins his last time out. He's gone 5 1/3 so far today. Those were his numbers coming into the game. 2 relief outings and the 5 starts.
Well, he's starting to lose a little. Losing the strike zone here, getting himself in trouble.
He's missed with 5 in a row. And Bruce rolls over 1, and Defoe's play is to first, and that's the 2nd out as Frazier moves up to 2nd.
He's been able to get behind in the count, which is just so typical of baseball today. And he's throwing the changeup, and he's getting himself out of the jam with the changeup.
Matt Jackson is 0 for 2 today. Busted into a forced play in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th. Mets didn't score yesterday until the 6th when Rosario homered, wound up winning that game 3-0. They're in the 6th today, down 1-0, and Jackson takes a changeup for a strike. 25-year-old Jeffrey Rodriguez last year was pitching an A ball and sitting out half a year with a drug suspension. This year pitching in the big leagues and working on a shutout in the 6th. And that one kicks away from Keyboom, and over to third goes Frazier. So the Mets got a runner to third base for the first time today on the wild pitch. He got down. He just couldn't deaden the ball off his chest protector. One more of those, we'll have a tie game. And Jackson bounces one down to third. One long hop for Rendon, and that retires the side. So 6 scoreless innings for the rookie right-hander Jeffrey Rodriguez. 1-0 Nats going to the 7th. Wilmer Difo takes a strike as we start the 7th. Jeff McNeil has come out of this game. Don't know why. Jose Reyes is now playing second base. Haven't seen anything particular happen to McNeil, but we'll try and get a report. Difo bunts. Nice bunt. Barehanded by Frazier, and he throws him out. Nice job by Bruce reaching into the runner. That was not easy for an inexperienced first baseman. And they get Difo.
Well, nice play by Todd here. Now he's going to throw that sinker. You see him adjust that ball in his hand. It's going to run into the runner, sink into the runner. It
was an interesting pickup by Todd. Normally on those bare hand plays, you see infielders use all 5 fingers. He used 1.
I don't think it was part of the plan.
I don't think so either. But he was able to secure it with 1 finger and his thumb. It's hard to do. Here's Spencer Keyboom, who's flied out twice, 0 for 2. Look at this.
Here it is. He's got all 4 fingers down, and the middle finger is the only one that seems to watch the adjustment. Well done.
Good change up by Matz, and it's 0-2 to Keyboom. Andrew Stevenson is out on deck to pinch hit for the Nats. After 6 scoreless innings by Jeffrey Rodriguez, looks like he's reached the end of the line. Meanwhile, Matt's trying to get through the 7th. He has not done that in quite some time. It's been such a slog for Steven since the All-Star break. He went 5 for the first time since July 26th. This last time out. Last time he went 7. It was June 26th, exactly 2 months ago. Fouled away.
And all of a sudden, the Braves are having trouble hitting. They're up 1-0 in the 6th, but again at Miami. But
well, they got shut out by the Marlins Friday. They scored just 1 run in the loss last night.
They are scuffling offensively, and that's a very good hitting lineup.
They lost to Wei-Yin Chen last night. See the nickname Wei-Yin Chen had?
I did.
Wei, W-E-I-G-H-N. It's great. 1-2. Grounded in the hole. Moving over to get it, Rosario. And he throws out the catcher, Kieboom. 2 out. Let's check in with the studio. Gary Apple has another game break. Gary? All right, Gary. Gosman's been doing very well for the Braves since coming over from the Orioles. Here's Stevenson to pinch hit. He has pinch hit in each of the first 2 games, struck out and fouled out. And Matz pops a fastball in for a strike. Still throwing 94 in the 7th inning. Steven trying to get through 7 for just the 3rd time this season. And the curveball misses inside. 2-1. Mets have the bullpen going behind him in case he needs help, but he's only at 96 pitches, working with 2 out in the 7th. Bouncing ball, Rosario in to get it. And throws out Stevenson to retire the side. So Mets, for the first time in 2 months, completes 7. Stretch time with the Mets down 1-0. Honda. Great deals are waiting at your Honda dealer. By Spectrum. Hey, Mets fans, get the best TV, internet, and voice service today at Spectrum.com. By Geico, the #1 insurer in the New York market. And by Hyundai, get a great deal more than a great deal on all new Hyundai vehicles. See your Hyundai dealer today. SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Watch SNY Mets games on the go on any device with live streaming presented by Verizon. Just visit SNY.TV or download the NBC Sports app today for live streaming coverage of every SNY Mets game. Mets have been stymied for the first 6 innings. Steven Matz has done well. Allowed just 1 scratch run over 7. But the Mets down a run as we go to the bottom of the 7th. And Matz due up 3rd in the inning. The veteran right-hander Greg Holland will come out of the bullpen for the Nats.
No, Holland pitched 2/3 of an inning last night and gave up a run. Grace gave up his runs. Grace came in, a left-hander, and gave up 2 base hits. He had 2 inherited runners, and they both scored. 1 charged to Holland.
Holland, who had a miserable start to his season in St. Louis, has been much better since joining the Nationals. And now he'll try and protect a 1-0 lead in the 7th against the lower third of the Mets order. Bautista, Nido, and Matz due up. Still no word on why Jeff McNeil came out of this game. It kind of came out of nowhere.
I didn't see anything.
Anything happened to him. Maybe he just wasn't feeling well, but we'll wait to hear. Bautista's been up twice, fouled out to Zimmerman both times, and takes first pitch curveball high for ball 1. So Jeffrey Rodriguez had by far his best start in the big leagues. 6 innings, no runs, 2 hits, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, a wild pitch, and he leaves with a chance for his 2nd big league win. Ball and a strike to Bautista. Holland, the longtime closer for the Kansas City Royals, had a great year in Colorado last year, but this year has been a very different story. Pops a fastball in for a strike to Bautista, but he seems to have found his way since putting on a Nationals uniform. He was just awful in St. Louis. They used him to close for a little while, lost that job precipitously, and then they released him on the 1st of August. One-two coming, and the changeup in there, strike 3 called. So Bautista is caught looking for the first out.
Here's it's a curve here, Garrett. It's a 12-6. And you see Bautista bend his knees. It's called buckling your world.
So 1 out. Here's Nido, who's gone 0 for 2 in his first big league game in 3 months. Wilmer Flores coming out on deck to pinch hit for Matz. And Nido fouls away the fastball. Ball Sewald getting ready to pitch the 8th inning for New York. Well, nice bounce back performance by Matz. The last 2 have certainly been encouraging after a very rough stretch after the break.
Well, it's a strong 7 innings.
Certainly a big difference from the last time he faced the Nationals when he didn't get out of the 1st inning. Today just 1 run and 5 hits over 7 innings. Struck out 7, walked only 1.
It's a funny game, isn't it? Same pitcher. I mean, those hits that he gave up, those 7 runs on 8 hits and that 2/3, they were all hit hard. He was really clocked.
Racky-tacked, I believe is
yes,
the word
yes, he was.
that you've used. I like to use your vocabulary. I'm trying to take instruction from you.
Racky-tack.
You are an etymological wonderland.
Well, yes. Hackneyed.
Jacob deGrom looking on. His next start will be Tuesday night at Wrigley Field against the red-hot Cole Hamels. 1-2 to Nido, and he hits one past the mound. It flattens out for Turner.
Boy.
And that's the second out.
That's like a bowling ball, wasn't it?
Hit the back of the mound and then it just rolled the rest of the way like it was bocce. Round the Majors brought to you by Audi. Despite the Kendrys Morales homering in a 7th straight game, the Phillies and Vince Velasquez have the lead in Toronto. Phillies 3 games behind the Braves, who are up 1-0 in Miami in the 7th. And Daniel Murphy continues to rake for the Cubs. They'll be ready for the Mets tomorrow night. Cubs trying for their 5th straight win, trying to sweep the Reds. So here's Wilmer to bat for Mats. Flores started the first 2 games of the series, went 1 for 8. And Wilmer takes the curveball down for ball 1. Good cut by Wilmer, but he fouls it back 1-1. Keeping it away from Wilmer, 2-1. Mets have had just 2 singles today. Bruce singled in the 2nd, McNeil singled in the 3rd. That's been it. And again, Holland keeps it away, this time with a slider. And it's 3-1. Ahmed Rosario would be next. Wilmer's always dangerous in these late game situations, particularly if you come inside. And he takes a fastball for a strike, 3-2.
Wilmer's way off the plate too, much like Ryan Zimmerman.
Three-2 from Holland, and he walked him, and the Mets have the tying run aboard with 2 out, with Rosario coming up. It's 5 walks today for Nationals pitchers. So far they haven't been hurt by it. Rosario so far today has grounded out and flied out twice. With short rosters and Reyes already in the game, no chance to pinch run for Flores in this spot. And again, outside from Holland, ball 1 to Rosario. Reyes is on deck, having taken over for McNeil in the last inning.
Holland really falls to the first base side of the mound on his delivery. Here's a good angle right here. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? He really steps towards the first base side of the mound and really kind of makes him, I think, open up his shoulders. I don't know anything about pitching, but I know you like hitting, you keep your front shoulder tucked. Gosh, when you're striding like that, it really, you got to be able to, you got to have to fly open your front shoulder.
Creates an awkward bend in his landing leg as well. Must be awfully strong to do that. Don't know how you develop that kind of emotion, but it certainly has worked for him. He's been doing that his whole career.
Yep. And maybe that's a deceptive, makes him deceptive for the hitter. Hard to pick up.
1-2 coming, and he chases the slider for strike 3. So Holland gets Rosario, 2 strikeouts in the inning, and the Mets are turned aside. Paul Sewald coming out of the bullpen as we go to the 8th. Still 1-0 Washington. Keith and Ron go on a cartoon adventure on an all-new episode of the SNY.TV digital series, The Amazing Life, presented by Coca-Cola. Watch it now at SNY.TV/Coca-Cola.
And Haji makes an appearance in that.
Really?
Yes, he does.
Big star. Bigger than both of you.
Oh.
Paul Sewald on to pitch the 8th inning for New York. Paul picked up his first big league save his last time out against the Giants. And misses with his first fastball to Adam Eaton. Eaton is 1 for 3, had a base hit on the first pitch of the game from Matz. Then he was robbed of a hit his last time up by Frazier, playing in, and he's playing in again because Eaton always a threat to bunt. Ball and a strike with Turner and Rendon to follow in the 8th. Well, Sewald got the first career save out of the way. Maybe get his first career win. Reyes to his right. Tough play against the speed of Eaton, and it's too late. And Eaton has his second hit of the day, an infield single.
Well, you can smell a hit. He's busting out of that box.
Hit number 6 for the Nats today. And now Trey Turner, who has 2 of them, a single and a double, and scored the only run of this game. Snapped the Nats' 32-inning scoreless drought. Looked like he had done it on one swing of the bat, a ball that hit the top of the wall and left. They looked at a replay review, might have actually struck the iron fence behind it, but we'll never know because we didn't see a great angle. So they scored it a double, and he came around on a single and a ground out. And that's been it. Frazier staying in at third with Turner showing bunt on that first pitch. Swinging now, but he takes outside 2-0. Anthony Rendon on deck. Remember, they have Bryce Harper sitting in the dugout. Harper getting the day off today. Was feeling under the weather. And now 3-0 to Turner.
He's got to come back here. 3-1. They're going to set Eaton loose. Probably 3-0 take here. 3-1 if there is one. Eaton will be on his horse.
Runner goes. The throw to second. Two guys cover, and nobody gets Eaton out.
I have never seen anybody try to steal a base 3-0. And on a take. Well, I was all.
Why did two guys cover?
Well, I think everybody was caught by surprise here. I mean.
So Eaton picks up his 6th steal of the year. And he got stepped on to boot.
Don't worry about it. Hey, he's okay.
3-1 to Turner. And he takes ball 4, and the Nats have the first 2 men on. So not a promising beginning for Sewald. Meanwhile, we also just got a medical report on Jeff McNeil. Right quad tightness. That's why McNeil came out of the game.
Watch his right hand getting stepped just a little bit. Got him a. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Right underneath the spike of Rosario's left shoe. So the Nats looking to add to their 1-0 lead. First and second, nobody out. Anthony Rendon, the batter. Rendon singled to center his last time up. He's 1 for 3 on the day. Sewald finding immediate trouble with an infield hit, a stolen base, and a walk. And now Rendon takes a slider for a strike, 0-1. Tyler Bachelor, next man up in the Mets bullpen.
And there's a little urgency for him to get loose here.
And Rendon pops one up. Foul ground. Frazier and Rosario watch it go into the stands. 0-2. Today's starters brought to you by People's United Bank. Steven Matz was really good today, but Jeffrey Rodriguez, in just his 6th big league start, shut the Mets out for 6 innings. Matz, by the way, in his last 10 starts at Citi Field now, has no wins. That's the longest stretch for any Mets pitcher at Citi Field. 10 starts without a victory. In fact, there have only been 2 other streaks in Mets history of 10 straight home starts without a win. First one came at the Polo Grounds. Bob Miller in 1962 went 10 straight starts without a win. And then Jerry Koosman at Shea Stadium in 1978 went 14 straight starts without a win. Now Matz has the Citi Field mark, 10 straight without a win. His only win at home this year was April 13th against Milwaukee. That was the game that brought the Mets to 11-1 on the season. You remember that? 11-1.
A distant memory.
Since the 11-1, 47-70. 0-2 to Rendon, and he popped one up. Shallow left. Tough play. Rosario over the shoulder. Can't get there. Neither can Conforto. He kicks it away, and the bases will be loaded. A parachute for Rendon that fell into just the right spot. Everybody had to hold up, so no chance for Eaton to score, but he winds up at third, and the bases are loaded.
Well, really unfortunate here for Paul Sewald and the Mets. This is a tough chance for Rosario. I don't think Rosario in the runner here. You're kind of stuck. You got to be able to get back if it's caught. That's just good base running right there. So no one is committed, which is a good thing. We see so many base runners that they go bobbing and weaving back and forth. No one infield in.
Why isn't the infield in? You're down 1-0 in the 8th. You can't play for the double play here.
I would be inclined to bring. I would definitely bring at least halfway the middle infield.
I mean, if it's the 5th inning, maybe, but in the 8th inning,
I would be halfway with my middle infielders.
1-1 to Zimmerman, who has walked and doubled, 1 for 2. Boy, you're putting a lot of pressure on your offense if you're willing to concede a run. But I guess Mickey's figuring is he wants to stay out of the big inning that could blow the game open. Eaton to third, Turner at second, Rendon at first with nobody out. And Zimmerman chases the slider off the plate. It's 1-2. Well, if you strike him out, it's a moot point where your infield's playing.
Well, Zimmerman had a similar situation back in the 6th. His last at bat, he had runners on
first and third.
First and third, right. And he struck out looking.
One-two coming, and Zimmerman goes down again. Second straight time that Zimmerman's come up in an RBI situation and struck out. That's the first out of the inning.
Well, if you're going to chase that slider, I'm going to keep throwing it out of the strike zone.
So now 1 out, the base is still loaded, and here comes Juan Soto, who's driven in the only run of this game with a ground out in the 6th inning. And a fastball inside. Let's go back to the pop single by Rendon.
Well, you see Conforto calling off Rosario, and he didn't have a chance at that. It would have been a very tough catch for Rosario over the shoulder.
But you really have to wonder, with the miscommunication earlier on the homestand with Dom Smith in left field, did that play a factor in Conforto maybe calling too early and a ball that he didn't have a chance for? Rosario certainly got out of the way in a hurry as soon as he heard Conforto call.
You definitely pulling the ripcord when you hear the outfielder calling you off.
And a backdoor breaking ball on 2-0 with the bases loaded, and Soto didn't like the call. But that's quite an effort by Sewald.
That's not a strike.
Yeah. It's a big turn in this at bat. Instead of 3-0, it's 2-1. And he misses with the sinker, and now it's 3-1.
So now you just can't, with the bases loaded, you've got to come in with a strike.
Now he threw a 2-0 slider, where he threw a 3-1 slider.
Yeah, but where was the location of the slider? Outside. So he's got a sinker. You're not going to play into his hands. He's got to throw a strike here. You are looking at that ball away and thinking left center field gap up the middle.
And he misses. Ball 4 to force in a run. He came with a fastball, but he missed inside. 2 walks in the inning for Sewald. Eaton trots into score, and it's 2-0 Washington.
Well, he tried to come inside, and that was by plan.
So an infield hit, a walk, a bloop, and then the bases loaded walk, even after Sewald got a break on that 2-0 pitch. He walks Soto to force in a run, and Soto has both RBIs today and a 2-0 Nationals lead. And now Bryce Harper is going to bat for Michael Taylor, trying to blow the doors off this game. Harper's been in a slump. He's 0 for 7 in this series and 0 for his last 13. Told reporters before the game today that he's been feeling sick for about a week and tried to play through it. Took the day today, but he is pinch hitting here in the 8th.
Well,
no lefty was up in the bullpen, so it's on Sewald to try and get through this.
And a very dangerous pinch hitter right here.
Bases loaded, 1 out, a run home in the 8th, 2-0 Washington. Turner now at third, Rendon at second, and Soto at first, and the Mets hoping Harper hits a ground ball at somebody. They're back hoping to turn 2 and get out of this inning.
Well, whenever you give one of your regulars who's a big bat a day off, you hold him. You really want him to have the day off completely. But you also, oh, look at those shoes. Jeez. Looks like the old Padre shoes. San Diego Padre. You hold them in reserve here for a situation late like this where you can break the game open.
Backdoor slider for a strike, and it's 1-1. Harper doesn't get many pinch hitting opportunities. He's 0 for 2 this year. You see his bases loaded numbers. 3 career grand slams. And Harper hits it hard. That's down the line and toward the corner. Turner is in. Rendon scores. Soto being waved home. Relay throw to the plate by Reyes on a hop. It gets by Nito. It's a 3-run double for Bryce Harper, and he indeed has blown the game open. A big pinch hit for Harper makes it 5-0 Washington. So the inning blows up on the Mets as Harper delivers 3 runs with a double.
Don't want to throw him middle and down. And that's going to be all for Sewald.
So Harper delivers his first pinch hit of the year. Sewald gives up 4 runs in the 8th inning. And a close game is no longer close. Bachelor coming in, called to the bullpen, brought to you by Verizon. Tyler Bachelor makes his first appearance in this series.
Last time out against the Giants, went 2 innings, gave up a run.
Wilmer Defoe first man up against him with Harper at second, and Defoe fouls off a first pitch fastball.
Here's the double by Harper here. Oh, he wanted a backdoor slider, and it came flat down the middle, inner half. Right down the line. The back runner's the one you want to watch. He's the one that's questionable what he's going to score. That's Soto. Not a great speedster. Soto just barely beats.
Good throw by Reyes, might have had him.
I think he would have beat it, Gare. Even if Nito comes up clean.
But if he gets it there on the fly, which Reyes is perfectly capable of, then he probably has a chance. But the one hopper, no chance. Two balls and a strike to Defoe. Sewald hurt himself with 2 walks in that inning. He walked Turner, he walked Soto to force in a run, and then Harper sealed the deal. And now Bachelor trying to pick up the pieces. Defoe's gone 0 for 9 in this series, 0 for 3 today. Tried to bunt his way on his last time up, and Frazier threw him out with help from Bruce reaching into the runner to make a nice play. And now Bachelor falls behind 3-1. 15th big league appearance for Tyler Bachelor, pride of South Georgia College. Spencer Keyboom, next man up for the Nats. And Bachelor held it too long, and Defoe calls for time. Low-flying airplane. Doesn't the Open start tomorrow?
Yes, I believe so.
It means no airplanes in the neighborhood, right? Or does it not matter now that they have a roof? Fly ball out to left center, pretty well hit. Jackson back in the gap, and he won't get there. It's off the top of the wall. Around third is Harper, and they're saying it's out. It's a 2-run homer for Defoe. He's racing all the way to third. But the third base umpire, Carlos Torres, signaled home run. So it's a 2-run shot for Defoe, his 5th home run of the year. It's a 6-run 8th inning for the Nationals, and they lead 7-0.
Well, and the Mets bullpen, it's out. And a Mets bullpen, which has been very solid, doesn't come through today as they're getting kind of lit up here. This is a 6-run 8th inning.
So Defoe's first hit in the series is a 2-run homer. He was motoring all the way to third before he realized that it had been ruled a home run. Good for him. Here's Spencer Keyboom, and he takes a fastball for a strike. So the book is now closed on Sewald. He gets charged with 5 runs and a third of an inning. Curveball misses inside to Keyboom. So the Nats, who had been blanked for 32 consecutive innings, break out in a big way. They scratch one out in the 6th, and now they put up 6 runs in the 8th inning. Keyboom's gone 0 for 3 today, and he takes curveball for a strike, 1-2. Keyboom, the 8th man up in the inning. Mark Reynolds is out on deck to pinch hit, with the pitcher spot due up next. You okay over there? Are you finding everything you need?
I've lost more things today.
Geico Sports Night tonight at 11 o'clock. 5 weeks to go in the big league regular season. Little League World Series ends today, and football's just around the corner. Just one more exhibition game.
I haven't lost things, but I just have had trouble finding them. I lost this guy. And, you know, I'm in my blue and my scorecard. I need them. I get a little worried.
You're crawling around on the floor. There's strike 3 called, and Keyboom is out for the second half. I mean, I try not to get distracted in the course of the game, but you're down on your hands and knees.
Well, I just know that you're the consummate professional that you are, Gary, that it would have no effect on your professionalism in calling a ball game.
Well, that may well be, but that doesn't mean that I'm not distracted. Here you go. This is Keith. Well,
where are you? This happens the 3rd time it's happened.
But here's the thing about that. It means that they're always spying on us.
I know.
Here's Mark Reynolds. I mean, even when you don't know that you're on camera,
I know,
you're still on camera. Mark Reynolds pinch hitting for the Nats. 9th man up in the inning. And Bachelor falls behind him 2-0.
That wasn't a very flattering pose they had me in that chair, you know.
They could have showed your legs, you know.
Well, That's a good point.
I mean, you know, TV's a waist up business.
I wish it was a neck up right now.
And Bachelor really struggling behind 3-1 now on Reynolds.
I'm ready to rock once this season's over. I've got my trainer ready for me down in Florida. I am on a mission.
What's your mission?
Lose 20. Take me a couple months to maybe 2.5. I'll get after it.
And Reynolds spins around. Was he hit by that?
Yes,
I believe
he was.
So would have been ball 4 anyway.
So they bat around.
So it goes to the hit batsman. And it's a 2-out base runner as Adam Eaton comes up.
So a very ugly inning.
Eaton began this inning with a ground ball just to the right of second base. Reyes slid over to get it and as good a play as he could, but Eaton beat it out for an infield hit, and that got the ball rolling for the Nats here in the 8th against Seawall. So Eaton has been something of a pest on base 4 times yesterday, 2 more times today. After getting low bridged once and hit once in yesterday's game. Reynolds not being held on in a 7-0 game in the 8th.
Looks like Bachelor is really kind of laboring, a little overthrowing. He's having difficulty finding the range on his fastball.
Justin Miller is up in the Nationals bullpen, getting ready to pitch the bottom of the 8th. And a rare changeup from Bachelor, misses 2-1. Here comes another one, Keith.
Not so bad, though.
Not like in the Shea Stadium days when you were afraid it might run into the upper deck.
Yes.
That's hooked down the right field line right toward the pole, and it's out of here. A bullet of a 2-run homer by Adam Eaton, his 5th home run of the season, and the Nats just keep pouring it on. It's an 8-run 8th inning for Washington, and the Nats lead 9-0.
Well, the inability of Bachelor to get the fastball over the plate, falling behind. I mean, this is a hitter's count here, sitting on a fastball, inner half, more down the middle. And that ball was scaldy dog.
109 miles an hour off the bat. That's hard. Now Trey Turner, who walked earlier in this inning. Well, sometimes when the dam breaks, water sluices in the breach.
When it rains, it pours. How about that one?
Okay, well, you can do that one. I was just thinking of all of the pent-up runs that the Nats didn't score for those 32 innings when they were held in check. Now they have their biggest inning of the season. 8 runs, the most they've scored in an inning this year.
Well, the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain.
What does that mean, really?
I never understood that.
The rain in Spain.
Right, Joe.
To Turner, and he struck him out to finally put the brakes on the inning, and just in time before Keith and I lose our minds.
By Joe, you've got it.
8-run inning. It's 9-0 Nats in the 8th. in short order to head to Chicago for a 9-game road trip. 3 in Chicago, 3 in San Francisco, 3 in Los Angeles.
I will meet you in San Francisco. There's Justin Miller coming in to pitch. Reynolds going out to second base. How about that? Harper stays in and goes to center.
And Wilmer Defoe moves to shortstop. So there's Reynolds at second. Defoe at short.
Has Reynolds ever played second
Harper
base before?
center. Yes. Not extensively.
Right.
More of a first and third baseman.
Like in a 9-1 game in the 8th.
Jose Reyes up for the first time in this game. Took over for Jeff McNeil, who experienced right quad tightness that took him out of the game. Reyes has been swinging the bat much better lately. Thus the average above 200 for the year. Justin Miller on the mound for the Nationals. Well-traveled right-hander. Last time Reynolds played second base was in 2016, Keith. I knew that you wanted to know that. And it is his 7th career appearance at second base. So there you go.
Thank you.
Anytime. 2-2 to Reyes with Conforto and Frazier to follow in the 8th. Well, despite the late barrage of runs for the Nationals, the Mets are going to finish off a winning homestand. They split 4 with the Giants before taking the first 2 in this series. Reyes fouls one down the line. Mets will face 2 of the toughest lefties in the game the next 2 days.
They got their work cut out for them. The Cubs are going to have their work cut out for them too. It's a good matchup. I'm going to maybe sit home and watch a little bit of that.
Come on, you're going to watch every pitch. You hang on every circumstance and listen to every word.
I will be. Oh, there it is.
City probables: Noah Syndergaard against Leicester tomorrow. Jacob deGrom against Cole Hamels Tuesday. Jason Vargas, who's on a roll right now, against the rookie Alec Mills. It'll be his second start for the Cubs. Two coming to Reyes, and he misses with the breaking ball. 3-2. Corey Oswalt is up in the Mets bullpen. Looks like he'll get the 9th inning. Mets shut out the Nats in the first 2 games of this series. Washington trying to return the favor today. Reyes with a long turn at bat. The Mets had held their opposition to 3 runs or fewer each of the last 8 games. That streak has now come to an end. The longest streak the Mets have ever had in that regard was 11 straight games. They held the opponent to 3 runs or fewer. They did that in '85 and again in '91. And Reyes bound and determined to provide souvenir baseballs for every remaining patron, which is only fair. You have to treat people to something on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. No runs, at least you might get a foul ball. Reynolds, his first chance at second base in a couple of years, and he handles it flawlessly, like he's been doing it all his life. So 1 out and nobody on. Now Conforto, who's 0 for 2, struck out, walked, and grounded out. Game being played under beautiful sunshine all afternoon. Always good to have natural light. See what happened at Dodger Stadium last night, Keith?
No, I did not.
They're in the 12th inning, deep into the night after Kenley Jansen blew another save, by the way, his 3rd straight. Home run by Austin Hedges in the 9th that tied it. So they're in the 12th inning. The Dodgers get a man on, and the lights go out. And I don't mean just like one bank of lights went out. I mean every light in Dodger Stadium went out. It was pitch black for about 10 seconds before the auxiliary generator came on. And they had about a 20-minute delay before they could get the lights back up and running again. And this is, this is the 12th inning. It's already late. And then the first pitch after the power comes back on, Justin Turner hits a pop fly that falls in for a game-winning double, and the Dodgers win the game. First pitch. But the Dodger bullpen is a huge concern. I mean, it was a concern when Jansen was out, and now it's a concern after he's back. There's strike 3 called, and Conforto is out on strikes, 2 down. I mean, he's worked 2 1/3 innings since coming back from his heart issues, and he's given up 4 home runs in that 2 1/3. Now the Dodgers just trying to clamber their way back in. They're 2.5 out in the division and 2.5 out in the wild card. Rockies tied Arizona for first place in the West last night by scoring a whole bunch of runs late and beating the Cardinals. In fact, they had an 8-run 8th inning last night, just like the Nats have an 8-run 8th inning today. But the other thing that happened for the Rockies last night is that Matt Holliday hit the home run that broke the scoreless tie in the 7th. His first home run on a Rockies uniform in 10 years. That's a great story, I think.
It is, and it gave him a real nice standing ovation in his first plate appearance a couple days ago when he came back to Colorado.
Of course, that's where he began his career and won batting titles before they traded him to Oakland, right? The first time. One and 2 to Frazier. Todd is 0 for 2 and a walk today. Mets have had just 2 hits all afternoon.
Yeah, this looks like Chicago is going to sweep the Reds. They're up big. A lot of important games in the National League, that is for sure.
Well, you got a lot of teams in it.
Yeah, and those are Cardinals up 6-1 early against Colorado. Those are 2 teams vying for it. And Milwaukee's up 6-3 in the 6th. Atlanta's up 4-0 in the bottom of the 8th. It's a fun time of year to watch. Scoreboard watching.
Frazier down on strikes. 1-2-3 inning for Justin Miller in the bottom of the 8th. We head for the 9th. It's been all Nats this afternoon. We go to the 9th inning here, gentlemen. It's 9-0 Washington, and Corey Oswalt, who looked great in his first relief outing after being pushed from the rotation to the bullpen, comes on to pitch.
That was Tuesday against the Giants. Second game of that series, 3 scoreless innings, only 1 hit.
Anthony Rendon, first man up against him, and attacks a first pitch fastball and fouls it back. Rendon 2 for 4. Had that pop fly single that fell between Rosario and Conforto that set the table in that 8-run 8th inning. 5 runs charged to Sewald, 3 runs charged to Bachelor, who gave up a couple of home runs that broke this game open. For Oswalt, just his 3rd career relief outing. He's been a starter for his entire career, but he had a really good relief outing in his first big league appearance. It was a game Matt started in St. Louis earlier this year. Then after his run of starts, a really good relief outing against the Giants. And Rendon takes just inside. Ryan Zimmerman on deck, then Juan Soto for the Nats in the 9th. Bouncing ball. Frazier can't get it. Rosario does. The jump throw is offline, and it's an infield hit for Rendon. His 3rd hit of the day.
That's key right there as a hitter. You get that. It's 9. Always talk about these late games. 9-0. Your last at bat. You're 2 for 4. Boy, you want to get that 3 for 4 is big. Be greedy. That's a nice day now. 3 hits. 3 for 5 looks nice in the paper.
How about if you're reading it online? Does it look
well, it looks good. You know, it used to make my brother and my dad very happy to see 3 for 5 in the paper the next day. My mom.
Here's Zimmerman, and he has to turn away. Zimmerman 1 for 3. He's had a couple of RBI opportunities that he has squandered the last 2 at bats. 1st and 3rd, nobody out in the 6th. He struck out. Bases loaded, nobody out in the 8th, and he struck out. And he pops one straight up. Who's going to get it? Frazier reels it in for the first out. So Zimmerman retired, 1 out and 1 on. And now Juan Soto, who drove in the first 2 Nationals runs today, broke their 32-inning scoreless drought with an RBI ground out in the 6th. And then he walked with the bases loaded against Sewald in the 8th. Steven Matz went 7 innings, allowed a run on 5 hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. He was terrific, although he'll undoubtedly take a loss today. Dropped his ERA to 4.36, but his longest outing in 2 months. And certainly every reason to be happy today about his process. Mets continue to get brilliant starting pitching. Their starters ERA over the last 9 games is under 1.4. And everybody is contributing right now, not just DeGrom and Wheeler, who've been doing it for a long period of time, but Syndergaard healthy now and pitching in.
Yep.
Vargas is pitching his best baseball of the year.
Well, Vargas has had 3 starts, 3 good starts. The last one is each one's gotten better.
Soto lines a base hit, his first hit of the day, to go with his 2 RBIs, and that's a dozen hits now for the Nats. And Washington has 2 men on in the 9th.
Change up, stayed back this time. Got it up. So
Now Bryce Harper bats for the 2nd time.
Gets another crack at some RBIs here, men on base.
Came up as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning with the bases loaded and delivered a 3-run double that broke the game open. Stayed in the game in center field. And he takes a rip at a fastball from Oswalt, 0-1.
And there's that pitch up in the strike zone.
Corey Oswald's going with the nickname Oz. Can we call him the Wizard?
Oof.
Or is that presumptuous?
No, that's out of line.
Well, there's only one baseball Wizard of Oz.
Greatest defensive shortstop I've ever seen. And there's been a lot of good ones.
And of course would be the great Ozzie Smith.
How many Gold Gloves did he wind up with? 13? Am I low? I think he had 13 Gold Gloves.
So you're saying he had more than you?
Oh, deservedly so.
Well,
I had to crack through. I mean, I struggled. He played every day when he came up, so he got a chance to be out there, and because there was no pressure on him to hit being the shortstop. Remember, when he first came up, he was a 220, 230 hitter. He was one of the most. He made himself into a good hitter.
Did he win Gold Gloves in San Diego before he went to San Diego?
Oh, he's got 13. He had to. He didn't play 13 years in. We got him in '81 in St. Louis, I believe.
Yeah, he won. Let's see, 1, 2.
80 to 90. Yeah, 12 years. Wow.
He won 2 of them in San Diego.
Yep.
And then the last 11 in St. Louis.
Straight trade was Gary Templeton for Oz, I believe.
Do you know why?
Yes, I do.
I mean,
Gary's a very dear friend, and he's really turned his life around, and a long time ago. That is so ancient history. You know, but he had that little moment on a day game in St. Louis and on the field that he had to go.
ripped into right field. Harper's got another hit. Rendon's going to stop at third, so the Nats have the bases loaded for the second straight inning. So Harper's now 2 for 2. Time for T-Mobile, built for baseball, and this was the big hit for Harper today.
Pinch hit, bases loaded, 3 RBI. Boy, Rendon didn't even try to score. I mean, you're a teammate. Don't you want to try to score for your teammate and give him another RBI? Big day.
Well, Bob Hanley was holding him all the way.
Was he?
Yeah. I think it's one of those rub it in moments. Maybe. Here's Defoe, who had a 2-run homer in that big 8th inning against Tyler Bachelor. And now he bats with the bases loaded with a chance to cash some more. I mean, it would take some doing for the Nats to have their biggest offensive day against the Mets this year. They're still 16 runs shy of that plateau. I think that's a day we'll always remember. 25-4. Jose Reyes giving up the last 6.
Oh, yeah. Throwing watermelons up there.
But you know what else happened that day, right? Jeff McNeil's first big league home run. That's driven to right field, and Defoe will cash some more runs.
Wow.
Rendon comes in. Everybody else moves up a base, and it's 10-0 Washington.
They are like taking it out. All those the drought. The drought's over. And here's a swing where you almost get overpowered up and in. You're back on your back foot and you fall back. And you just get the barrel out and hit a bullet.
Third RBI of the day for Defoe. 4 hits in the inning against Oswalt that produced a run, and the bases remain loaded for Spencer Kieboom, who's gone 0 for 4. Sky's darkened. Are we expecting rain? I mean, it's been raining runs the last couple of innings, but I mean like actual raindrops.
Let's hope not.
Nah, it looked like fair weather clouds. You know who was great with the clouds? Bob Murphy. He was a meteorologist in the Marines. Do you know that?
Yes, I remember you mentioning that one.
He was very attuned to the moisture content of every cloud that passed over Shea Stadium. He could tell the cirrus from the cumulus, from the stratus, from the stratocumulus.
So he had good cloud awareness.
He did, much like barrel awareness, except with those white puffy things in the sky. But what Murph would always say, well, they're fair weather clouds. They don't look like they're carrying a lot of water in them. and then you'd know that you're okay. It's not going to rain.
He was right most of the time.
He was very good with clouds. There's Murph. Voted into the Mets Hall of Fame. He and Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner all went into the Mets Hall of Fame together.
It's a very good likeness.
It really is. We've spent 42 years behind the mic on Mets TV and radio. Retired after the 2003 season and unfortunately did not get to enjoy his retirement for long.
No.
They lost him the very next year. Keyboom fouls it back.
Keyboom's the only guy without a hit.
And there is the great Ralph Kiner.
Ralph.
We had the pleasure of welcoming into his booth with his name on it. Those Sundays with Ralph, those were the best days.
I like to remember Ralph during my playing days.
You just like going on Kiner's corner.
I did. It means I had maybe a 3-hit day.
3-2 coming, and Keyboom pounds one foul. Oh, in the Mets Hall of Fame also, old number 17.
Jeez.
What's with the teeth, Keith?
Looks like Ted Turner.
Yeah, it does.
I wish I had his bankroll.
You're right. It looks very much like Ted Turner.
I'll take his bankroll.
You'd have to change the hat. Put an A on it.
You need to see a dentist. Got a floss. A little plaque build up there.
Next time, do the toothless smile. You know?
Yes.
8th pitch of the at bat coming from Oswalt. And Keyboom takes ball 4, and that'll force in another run. 11-0. And the sluicing continues.
And that's going to have a visit to the mound.
Well, the starter was good today. Stephen Matz had excellent 7 innings, but the bullpen, which had been the best in the National League in August, has seen some rather inflated numbers. Paul Sewald gave up 5 runs in a third of an inning. Tyler Batchelor gave up 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning, and now Corey Oswalt has been tagged for a couple of runs in just a third of an inning. And now Mark Reynolds up for the second time. He was hit by a pitch and scored a run in the 8th. A run in the 6th, 8 in the 8th, and 2 in the 9th. Adding up to 11 for Washington. And Reynolds flies one out to left center deep. Back goes Jackson. Back near the wall, and it's out of here.
Wow.
Mark Reynolds, who has often made Citi Field look small, puts the icing on the cake with a grand slam. And it's 15-0 Washington.
Oh my word, this is a rout. No other way to describe it.
12th home run of the year for Reynolds. Only the 3rd grand slam for the Nationals this season. First pitch after the pitching coach visits. Good time to swing. 6th career grand slam for Reynolds. And the roof is caved in on yet another Met reliever. 8 in the 8th, 6 in the 9th. And now Eaton, who had a 2-run homer in the 8th inning. He's got 3 hits today, and he takes a strike. Talk about your late game barrages. They went 32 innings without a run. They scored 1 in the 6th to break the dam, and now they can't stop hitting. 4-hit day today for Eaton as he continues the barrage. It's just not getting any better for Corey Oswalt, who's faced 8 batters and retired only 1 of them.
They are 2 batters away from hitting around back-to-back innings.
Well, there was no intention of getting Drew Smith up in this 9th inning, but he's up now. And now the pitcher is going to bat, Justin Miller. And he grounds one on the right side. Bruce handles this, gets the out at second. The return throw by Rosario in time for the 3-6-1 double play that finally puts the brakes on this inning. After 8 in the 8th, the Nats add 6 in the 9th, 15-0. Well, 86 on the last 2 innings. That's an 8 and a 6.
That's right.
Well, these teams have played some lopsided games this year, haven't they?
They sure have. The last 2 innings, the 8th and the 9th inning, they sent Washington sent 20 men to bat.
Well, the Nats scored 25 against the Mets earlier this year. They've dropped 15 on them today. It would be 1 shy of the worst home shutouts in Mets history. They once lost a 16-0 game to Atlanta in 1999. Remember that game because Matt Franco pitched, not John, but Matt Franco pitched and gave up a home run to Andrew Jones. Jay Bruce leads off in the 9th. Kelvin Herrera will pitch the 9th inning for the Nats. Herrera's first appearance in the series, recently back from the disabled list. Trying to finish off what now is a 2-hit shutout for the Nats. Mets have had only 2 singles all day. Bruce had 1 of them. That came back in the 2nd inning. Jeff McNeil added a bloop single in the 3rd, and the Mets haven't had a hit since. Jeffrey Rodriguez went the first 6 innings. He's in line for his 2nd big league win. Greg Holland and Justin Miller each with a scoreless inning, and now Herrera trying to finish off matters. Mets have been shut out 9 times this year. The Nats, who have been shut out 14 times, only have 5 shutout victories this season. Austin Jackson on deck, and then Jose Bautista as the Mets bat in the 9th. And it's hooked in the air to right center. Harper closing on it. He and Eaton come together, and Eaton makes the catch. And Harper shying just at that last moment. Oh, you can smile now.
Everybody just wants to get on the airplane here and get to the next city.
Yeah, but you don't need a collision in a 15-0 game.
Right.
It should be the center fielder's ball. Coach always told me, when you let down, that's when somebody gets hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's Jackson, and he flies one along the right field line. Eaton gives it a look, but that's out of play. Jackson's gone 0 for 3 today, 1 for 8 in the series. Well, the Royals had that great bullpen trio in their back-to-back World Series years. Of course, Greg Holland missed the 2015 series, but they had Wade Davis, and they had Greg Holland, and they had Kelvin Herrera, and now 2/3 of that group are pitching for the Nationals. Jackson grounds one toward the hole, and he's got a base hit. Just the Mets' 3rd hit of the afternoon. And that brings a raucous reaction from the remaining fans.
Comeback.
It's never happened in the history of the game. Nobody's ever come from 15 runs down to win. But, you know, it has to happen once.
Oh, boy. Maybe in a millennium. Not in our lifetime.
There's no clock in baseball, Keith.
There's a lot of people that didn't live to see it. It still hasn't happened.
Think if it happened, how many people would claim to have been there that day who weren't actually there?
It'd be incredible. But it's not going to happen.
No. But you never know. Bautista drives one deep down the left field line and just foul. Just to the left of the foul pole. He almost made it closer. Missed by about 3 seats. Bautista's gone 0 for 3 today, 0 for 8 in the series.
Oh.
And he breaks his bat. Herrera, and he hurt himself going to first base. Oh, that's awful. Oh, in a 15-0 game, a weak little ground ball, and Herrera looked like he turned his ankle as he picked that ball up and took it to the bag. Oh.
Jams him. Yeah, he definitely twisted his ankle.
Looked like he was looking around for somebody to cover, and in the hesitation, it threw off his stride a little bit. And then as he turned to first base, that's when it happened. Maybe it was
a cramp.
No, I don't know. In any event, it's a terrible time to get hurt. And he just got back from the disabled list. So with 2 out in the bottom of the 9th in a 15-0 game, Nats are going to have to get a new pitcher ready.
And they got someone up already tossing. This game doesn't want to die.
Well, it's never a good time to get hurt.
Oh,
that's just awful. He was just out for a couple of weeks with some shoulder issues. Now it's a lower body injury for Kelvin Herrera. You see him clutching that right fist. He's in some serious pain. I mean, who knows exactly what happened there, but it hit him like a ton of bricks all of a sudden. When you're down in that area, it could be an Achilles, could be his ankle, could be a calf. You just don't know. Boy, the Nats have had some bad luck getting players injured in this ballpark. Adam Eaton last year.
This makes me think it might be a cramp because he's pulling up.
That's too painful for a cramp.
I mean, he's holding up. He's making sure that he's holding his foot forward like you're trying to stretch, like on the side of a curve in the street. He seems to be better now, but still.
Yeah, I think there's too much concern also.
I mean, are they going to have to get a stretcher here for him?
They might.
I mean, if it's something serious, they need to cart him out, not put him on a, put any pressure on it.
Well, Kelvin Herrera. Let's watch it again. So
I don't know if it happened here.
He's off his left foot. And right there, that's when he hurt it. I don't know, Keith. He didn't turn his ankle.
No.
That's for sure.
So you hope it's not an Achilles tendon. That's all.
Yeah.
Because that's a serious injury.
And
here comes the cart. They're not gonna carry him off. They're gonna
have to get a stretcher.
Yep.
Oh, this is really a shame. Really a shame. I mean, it's been an unfortunate afternoon, obviously, from the Mets from a competitive standpoint. But what we were just saying, when you let down, this is when the injuries happen. And Herrera picked up that ground ball, and he looked around because he was expecting somebody to be able to cover first base, and then realized he was going to have to take it himself. And his first step after that is when it happened.
Zimmerman, the first baseman, was going in the hole and was way in the hole.
They're going to have to get him up on that gurney. Let's see if they can do that without putting any pressure on that leg, which clearly is a concern at this point. Try and help him to his feet, or at least to his foot. So no stretcher necessary. They're just going to sit him in the back seat of the cart. Gingerly puts that left foot.
Yeah, and make sure you hang on too and go drive him out very slowly.
I think the trainer might walk behind the cart there.
Yep.
Make sure.
Oh.
Let's see. Oh, he's in a lot of pain. He's chewing on that towel, just trying to alleviate some of it. So Kelvin Herrera carted off after a really, really unfortunate injury. You can only hope that it's nothing terribly serious. But he never put any pressure on that left foot after he injured it. Dakota Glover is coming in. He's throwing some warm-up pitches now, getting ready to try and get the final out in this game. A game that just about everybody will be very happy to see put in the rearview mirror. Painful for the Mets on the field, painful for the Nationals, who have had such problems with their bullpen in recent days. And now yet another one as Herrera leaves injured. Let's take one more look at it. And he knew immediately something was seriously wrong. So Glover will make his second appearance in the series. He worked 2/3 of an inning on Friday night and now gets as long as he needs to warm up. But they had him up as soon as Herrera went down.
Right.
So he should be pretty close to ready at this point.
Yep. Boy.
Meanwhile, the Phillies have beaten the Blue Jays 8-3. The Braves have beaten the Marlins 4-0. So the Braves stay 3 games up on the Phillies in the National League East. And in St. Petersburg, the Rays have completed the sweep of the Red Sox, winning 9-1, the first time the Red Sox have been swept this season.
Wow.
Which also means the Yankees can get within 6 games of Boston if they beat the Orioles tonight. So Tomas Nido up with 2 out and nobody on, or 2 out and a runner at second in the 9th inning. Jackson moved to second on the ground out. Nido's gone 0 for 3 today. And Glover's first pitch is foul back, 0-1. So now it's Glover trying to finish off the shutout for the Nationals and get Jeffrey Rodriguez his second big league win. Rodriguez was good. 6 innings, no runs, 2 hits in just his 6th big league start. And Nido skies one along the right field line. Eaton is there waiting for it, and that puts a close to this one as the Nationals bombard the Mets with 14 runs in the last 2 innings and salvage the last game of the series. 15-0 the final, despite some strong pitching by Steven Matz. The Mets finish off a 4-3 homestand, but it was the Nationals today. Bryce Harper with a big 3-run pinch hit double that turned a 2-0 game into the 5-0 game, and the Nationals cruised from there.
Well, it seems like they took out all their frustration, their lack of run scoring out on the game today. They sent 20 men to the plate the last 2 innings, 8th and 9th, scored 14 of their 15 runs in the final 2 frames.
Game summary presented by Tri-Acura. Nats win at 15-0. We'll come back with more from Citi Field in just a moment.